There we go. I apologize. We just got started here right now. We're talking Closers College November. This is an abbreviated one for those of you that are hopping on right now. So what are we going to address in today's Closers College? One, we're going to address the remaining schedule for the next 3-4 months. We're going to address an invitation for everybody who's looking to do some real business planning for 2012. We're going to address, as far as training is concerned, e-commerce. We're going to talk about e-commerce because I believe that everybody here needs to know a little bit about what it does, so you know how it helps families, but in the same token, so you know how to find opportunities, right? We're going to talk about that. We're going to address premium financing. We haven't talked about premium financing in a while now. It's a wealth management financial strategy leveraging Index Universal Life. We're going to dip into that for a little bit. Okay, we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about delivery meetings. I think that a lot of people don't necessarily max out the opportunities that they should be maxing out with a delivery meeting. So I'm going to talk to you about how I prep myself for a delivery meeting. What am I looking to accomplish out of a delivery meeting, more than just delivering the policy, saying goodbye, and more than just essentially asking for referrals as well. We're going to talk about that whole process. We're going to talk about what you want to do in order to run your book of business. I'm going to actually write that down. We're going to talk about how you want to essentially run your book of business. And then we're going to talk some sales techniques if we have some time. Okay, we might not get to the very last one. Again, this is going to be an abbreviated one. We're going to go for about 4 hours. We're probably only going to have okay, I like it. We're going to talk about a Secret Santa as well too right now. Sandra just reminded me about that, a Secret Santa that we want to be doing as a team to see who wants to participate. Schedule Secret Santa, hang on, business planning. I'm typing this all up. We're going to talk about techniques to run your business like a business, how to capitalize on your existing book of business, how to increase your book of business, the value that essentially has. And then after that, we're going to bid you guys a good day. Like I said, this is an abbreviated version. Okay, it's a 4-hour class. We'll probably have about a half-hour quick, snack lunch type stuff. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I want to be respectful at the fact that it's 10 o'clock Eastern time, which means if we go 4 hours, it goes right into 2 o'clock, and my East Coast people are going to be halfway dead if they don't get something to eat. So there will be a half-hour kind of quick snack, come back so we can finish off type of a meeting. Okay. But okay, let's get this bad boy started here. Number one, let's talk about the most important stuff of today. Secret Santa. Secret Santa. All right, so here's what we got going on. My family, I was able to convince my family to do a Secret Santa this year, and I thought to myself, man, I'd love to do a Secret Santa with the team. I'd really love to be able to do something like that with the team. So let me first explain what a Secret Santa is and how we're going to do it virtual, and then I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to unmute themselves and tell me that they want to be a part of it. Okay, this is not there's no pressure here or anything like that. You don't have to do it, but it's just something that's fun. It's a way to build rapport and such with everybody. But what basically a Secret Santa is this: anybody that wants to participate, I put your name on a piece of paper, and I fold that piece of paper up and I put it in a hat, right? And we're gonna do this over live Zoom so everybody can see it, right? So we know that there's no cheating involved. And what's going to happen is my Vanna White, right? I think I just gave away my age, right? My Vanna White, Sandra, aka Sandra Lopez, is going to draw out names, right? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to have a list of everybody who's participating. We're going to go from the top to the very bottom, okay? And from the top, we're going to draw out a name, right? And we're going to text message that person their name, that whatever name they receive is their Secret Santa. That's the person that they're assigned to get a gift for, right? You can't get your own name. You can't get your significant other's names if there's 2 of you participating or anything in that capacity, but that's the person you're assigned to. Your job now is to get that person a gift, right? My advice is using Amazon, because anything over $35 with Amazon, and it's free delivery, right? And it comes kind of packaged up. It doesn't have the ribbon and the bows or anything like that, but it's the most cost-effective way to do it. And since everybody's virtual, this is probably the best way. The limit is anywhere from $35 to $50. $35 to $50, right, is going to be the limit of the gift. 35, the idea came from Bailene because she said, hey, $35 is the limit. When you do 35 on Amazon, it's free delivery. So that's the whole idea. And then what we're going to do is when everybody has their gifts and everybody's acknowledged that they've gotten their gifts, you cannot open it, right? You cannot open your gift. We're going to get back on a Zoom sometime around Christmas time, probably maybe a few days before Christmas or the weekend before or whatnot. And on the same exact Zoom, right, we're going to go one by one, each person's name, and each person's going to get a chance to open up their gift and, you know, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, right? Very, very fun, you know, kind of festive. My question is this: who would like to participate? What I need you to do is unmute yourself so that Sandra can get your name and number down. Well, not your number, we have your number, but get your name down. The current list is, I'll tell you who we have currently participating. Can you tell me who that is? We have Lucia Maldonado participating. We have Bailene participating. We have Takira participating. We have Juan Graziani participating. Anybody else?
Me.
Me would be, is that Jennifer Jung? Is that right?
Yes.
All right. Let's add Jennifer Jung to that list. Tony Martinez is participating. Sandra Lopez is participating.
Irvin.
Anybody else? There we go. Irvin Bergs is participating.
Hi, this is Liz Corripio. I'll participate.
Hey, Liz Corripio will participate. I'll take it. Anybody else?
Yasmin Dominguez wants to participate. Good morning, everyone.
Hey, Yasmin Dominguez will participate. Rubiel said he's going to participate. Dr. Dom, is that you? Are you participating? Is that what your hands are up for like that for? Not sure, maybe. There we go. Dr. Dominic Tatum is going to participate.
I will.
There we go. Gerzo Mendez will participate. Are we good? Are we good? Okay. All right. If any of you guys change your mind and you want to go ahead and participate, shoot me a text message. Just let me know. Okay. And so as of right now, the list is how many people? 13 people. I like that. That's a pretty good list. I think we can get that number to 30, right? That's why I'm starting early to give people enough time to go at it. Okay. So, okay, we knocked that out. Let's talk about the schedule. The schedule for this month and the schedule for the next couple months. Let's see here. Next Monday, right? So 2 days from now is our TKO wine night. TKO wine night. What is that? That is for any new associate, but and veteran associate, but more importantly, the new associates to hop onto a Zoom. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right? 5 p.m. Pacific Time. We're going to be on literally the hour prior to general training. We're going to use the general training Zoom ID as well, just so you guys know. That way we don't got to hop off of one Zoom ID and onto another. And the idea behind TKO Wine Night, it's number one, it's every second Monday of the month. It's a chance for all the department heads of this organization to introduce the services that they offer. But in the same token, it's a chance for all new associates to kind of introduce who they are. You know, what states, what city and states are they in? What's their experience? You know, it's a great way to build rapport. And because, again, we work in a virtual space, I don't want anybody to ever feel like they're in this business completely by themselves. You know what I'm saying? So we've had to acclimate to the new world, right? I like to call that the new world, right? Post-COVID of virtual business. And as such, I think it's still important that we build relationships with each other. We get to know about, you know, who you are. And who knows, I've seen a lot of opportunities open up where you learn about somebody in a particular market that they're in, and all of a sudden there's a great matchup between one agent and another agent to do some work together because of whatever we learned about that person. So that's going to be next Monday. Okay, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. All you got to do is be willing to be on camera, be willing to have a beverage in your hand, whether it's a glass of wine, whether it's a beer, a mixed drink, a water, a coffee, a tea. I don't care what you have. If we have enough time, I'll go to this website that I checked out last time that tells us the psychology of who you are based on what you drink or what cocktail you drink. It's pretty cool. But anyhow, that's what's going on the 8th of this month, November 8th. Okay. Let's see here. Next month, December, we will not be having next month. What did you say? Kombucha. Next month, December, we are not going to be having a closers college, just so you guys know. There's too many things that are going on with holidays, with travel, I just want to be respectful. I don't want anybody to feel like they're going to be missing out. I don't want anybody to compromise on that. So the next month, December, we will not be having a closers college. However, here's what we will be having. Here, and I've sent out specific invites to specific people that I want to make sure attend, but I also want to let everybody here know that if you're serious about next year, I would encourage you yourself to participate as well. Okay. I just had a business planning meeting yesterday, not last night, yesterday in the afternoon with Marianne, right? Planning out next year's goals, right? Like any business professional that you're in business with, you want to be able to declare what your goals are so that we could, you know, if you're talking to your upline, you want to make sure your goals can fit within their goal. And if you're talking to your downlines, you want to make sure that you declare what your goals and what your intentions are so that people can strategize. Now, here's what's crazy. I've come up with a number this next year that I've never, ever in my life thought I would come up with. I've come up with a goal for 2022 TKO, and that number is 7.5 million of issue placed business next year. 7.5 million of issue placed business is the goal that I plan on attaining next year, right? And the reason I'm creating such a huge goal is because I need to make sure that whatever my goals are, they could that your goals, all of your goals could fit inside of it, right? So here's what we got going on. Okay, I've got an invitation to come up to Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Okay, our IMO's headquarters. They have this huge conference room. For those of you that took the tour, you guys saw that huge conference room with the glass walls and everything like that. I think Jennifer was with us. Jennifer Jung saw it. I think Gerzo saw it as well too. I'm trying to remember who was there with us. Yasmin was there. That's right. She saw it as well too. A good hand of you guys were there. And so here's my invite to you. Okay, December 12th is a Sunday. December 12th is a Sunday. I'm looking to make this a very quick in and out event. Okay. I'm inviting you to join us December 12th for an all-day Sunday business planning event. All-day Sunday business planning event. And what are we planning to do then? We're going to look at your business plan. There's an expectation for you to have a business plan written out with a game plan, a reverse engineered game plan as to how you're going to hit that number so that you have something to attack every week and every month and every quarter, right? There's a business plan in place that you're going to bring, but we're going to strategize that. We're going to break up, we're going to chop up that business plan, and we're going to figure out what is the most successful, what is the most attainable way, effective way of getting to that goal. Okay. That's a great opportunity for us to really see what your goals are. If are they big enough? Are they small enough? You know, do you have all the right tools in place? Could we give you some tips, some advice, some this, some that? That's going to happen all day long, boardroom type meeting. And really, it's my opportunity to get to know what you're planning to do next year, what your intentions are. Whether you're a builder and you want to look at agency numbers, whether you're a producer, you want to look at producer numbers. But that invitation is for December 12th, which means what? You'd have to fly in December 11th, Saturday night, right? That way you're there ready to go Sunday, December 12th. And then Monday, the very next day, you essentially fly back. Or if you could find a red-eye flight that night, we'll probably go from like 8 to 5, like a typical traditional day. That way, if you want to get an evening flight back, you can. Okay. This is not, you know, a big event. This is not a convention. This is not a sales symposium. This is nothing like that. This is purely, let's business strategize. Let's get ourselves ready for 2022. I have always found business planning a month before the year gets started is a great way to strategize what activity you need to have, whether you're part-time or full-time. What activity do you need to have on a weekly basis to hit those goals? Because if you come out the gates January, you don't have any idea what you're doing, I promise you're going to miss out on January. And whatever your 12-month goals are, you really only have 11 months to do it, right? December is also a great month to do it because, let's be honest, business slows down in December. It does. Historically, in the 17 years I've been in this industry, but more importantly, the last 10 that I've really been taking it serious in this industry, I've always noticed that December is a month where things slow down. And so my tip to you with that as well is make sure in November you're planting a lot of seeds, because if you want December to still be a big month for you, you can. You need to anticipate that most people are going to slow down, which means you need to ramp up so that what you're expecting you could still hit, and you need to ramp up now in the month of November for that. So that's my invite to you. I would love to see, I'll tell you right now, outside of the VPs, right? Some of the VPs received text messages directly from me yesterday about that. I would love to see the field managers. I would love to see field managers accept that invitation and say, and text me and say, hey, Tony, I'd like to attend. I want to strategize, because let's be real. You're at that, you're one level under VP. And hopefully the goal by next year is for you to hit VP. Hopefully, you know what you need to do in order to get that. Hopefully, if you have an income goal, it's, it's 150K or 200K or whatever it is, we can help you kind of work that out, so you understand what you need to do from a recruiting standpoint, what you need to do from a new business standpoint, what you need to do from an old business, annual reviews standpoint, what you need to do to maximize and get yourself to that goal. So again, December 12th is the date. There is a hotel that I'm going to be working on getting a discount for. It's going to be the Fairfield Inn, which is literally across the street from home office. Across the street, so there's no need for Uber other than the Uber from the airport to there. But I'm working on that. I can't contact them and ask for a discounted pricing until I know roughly how many heads are looking to participate. Okay. For my technical people, we are going to be going over some training as well during that business strategy. I'm planning on having a training session on long-term care and disability. Long-term care and disability insurance, I think, is something that everybody needs to embed into their practice, especially because of COVID-19. Disability insurance is something that you'll find a lot more people are receptive to purchasing short-term disability, simply because COVID-19, although there's a high recovery rate for it, there's that 2, 3, 4 week period that you might be out of commission because you've got the flu-like symptoms, you've got, the congestion, you've got all those symptoms. And so not being able to work puts you into a disabled type of a position. Short-term disability is a good solution that could help that 2, 3 weeks that you're out, and maybe even replacing 60 to 70% of your income. But anyhow, I'm going to be digging deeper in that training, in that advanced strategy session. I'm going to be digging into that, but I'm also going to be digging into premium financing. So my technical people, give a shout out to our newest VP, Caleb Duran, who just came on right now. He's from the independent space out in the Utah market. He'll be our first agent in Utah and our first agency owner looking to build. He tells me when I interviewed him that he's very big about learning the ins and outs of the products. He's very good. It motivates him. So I got a feeling that premium financing is something he's going to really enjoy learning about. So anyways, I've told you what's happening in December. Like I said, shoot me a private text message if you want to make sure you attend. But be serious. If you're coming to attend, it's because you're really looking to make the next year a big one. This is not sales skills. This is not, this is not motivation. This is real business planning, in real tough, real not difficult, but real important conversations, so that your next year you have a shot at hitting those numbers that you want to hit and even surpassing them. January 29th is going to be our kickoff closers college. January 29th. Okay. We originally had we had an earlier date scheduled. We decided to push it back. Sandra actually gave me the tip to push it back, and it made a lot of sense, because obviously in the holidays, there's traveling involved. There's a lot of expenses that are involved and such. And so we wanted to stretch out how much time, there was between the holidays and the next closers college. So we picked the very last Saturday of January to run our first kickoff closers college. That one is not going to be a virtual one. Okay. That one's going to be a request to come and let's all collaborate in one location. If you guys remember last year, once a quarter, I went to a different location. We did Illinois, we did Orlando, we did Jersey, right? We did Fort Myers. We're going to kick it off this year in Fort Myers, Florida. Fort Myers, Florida. So the hotel that you, not the hotel, the airport you'd be looking at is the RSW. I think it's Southwest Florida Hotel. I think is what it's called, RSW. Somebody from Southwest Florida, correct me if I'm wrong with that. I think it's the RSW Airlines. It's such an easy in and out airlines, guys. Such an easy, and it's super cost effective because there's not a lot of traffic volume that goes to there, right? So I would encourage you, if you're going to be attending Closers College face-to-face, I'm looking to reserve a conference room at one of the 5-star resorts that I know. The GM's a good client of mine. And so I'll be getting discounted pricing on hotels as well for you. I encourage you to check online now for prices on flights because they're super cost effective now. But the date, like I said, is going to be the 29th, Saturday. That event will probably run from 10 in the morning until about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at the latest. And then obviously a dinner in the evening time for whoever it is that flew out and attended. So if you're gonna be coming, make an attempt to fly in Friday the 28th, so you could be there all day Saturday, and then make an attempt to fly back Sunday, so you don't miss out on anything that happens. But that's going to be our first face-to-face closers college. It's going to be the kickoff closers college for the year. That's going to be an intense workshop, a clinic. If you're new, you would love it, because we're going to go over scripts, objection handling, illustration design. We're going to go over how to run your business like a business, rather than, you know, the difference between treating it casual versus treating it intentional, how to goal plan. We're going to be doing a bunch of stuff there. I'm probably going to have a couple of the vendors fly in. I'll probably have, you know, some of our top vendors like Allianz fly in to do, you know, a 45-minute training. Silac to fly in to do a 45-minute training. I'd love to get North American in as well too, to do a 45-minute training. Typically when those vendors come, they always come with their bank account, which I love that, right? They'll be like, hey, listen, I'll cover breakfast. This guy covers lunch. This guy over here covers dinner, and we can get a lot of our meals covered. And they're not cheap about it. They're not frugal. They're very flexible with it. You know, when we did our symposium, they gave me $1,700 outside of the conference costs. So though that breakfast that was provided and that lunch that was provided for those of you that attended, that was covered by our vendors, because of the amount of production that we were able to do for them. So am I missing any dates? Is that everything? Did I cover it all? Yeah, okay. Tentatively for the I believe tentatively for the Secret Santa, we should probably do it, I would say the 18th, Saturday, which is a week just before Christmas. Or what are your thoughts? Or Monday night?
I think it's on a weekday.
On a weekday is better?
How about the next wine night?
The next
Like
wine night.
December wine night.
Oh, that's a good idea. So the second Monday of, which would be the 13th.
I think it's better.
The 13th of December. The problem is that's when we'll be flying back from advanced sales. We could do it then though. We'll be back by then. Okay. Let's shoot for that. So Monday the 13th is going to be our Secret Santa. Our Secret Santa. We'll do that just before general training. So it'll be at 8 o'clock Eastern time. We'll do the Secret Santa for those of you that are participating. Okay. That gives everybody plenty of time to, you know, order their gifts and ship them out and do all that stuff. We'll finalize on this by mid this month, by the 20th of this month. That way everybody has enough time to get their gifts and send them out. And you know what I mean? We don't have issues with deliveries or anything like that. Okay. Somebody asked a question. Where was January 29th? Where it's going to be in Fort Myers, Florida. Fort Myers, Florida, which is Southwest Florida.
Yeah.
The airport you're looking at is the RSW. There you go. It is. I was right. The RSW airport. You guys will love it. Like I said, it's easy in, easy out, super clean, super nice. I typically fly Spirit. I don't think Southwest goes there, but you can check. Like I said, go online and check. Any questions about those dates before we transition to training? Everybody's good? Everybody's good? Okay. Very cool, very cool. Let me see. Let's give some love to some of the new faces that are here. Let me see here. What do we got? I think Caleb. Give some love. You know, we're gonna re-give some love to Dr. Dominic Tatum and Christina Bennett. They're really moving at a strong speed, getting themselves up and going here with us. Christina just got some writing numbers yesterday. I'm super excited that she got that. They're looking to build a big team. I know them too. I know more about Dr. Dominic Tatum because he and I sidelined before, but I've got a chance to meet Christina as well too. These guys are builders. These guys are legitimate big builders. So let's see how big of an organization they're looking to build, and let's see what the conversion is from recruiting to licensing, from licensing to commissions. Because at the end of the day, when you're in the independent space, it's all about how many writing agents you have putting ink on a pen. So, you know, let's re-welcome them back in. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, Caleb Duran. I've known Caleb on social media, just so you guys know, for about 3 years now, maybe 4 years. It's been a while. Okay. He and I walked some of the same similar footsteps. He did a small stint, right? Kind of like a prison sentence. He did a small stint in WFG. I did a small stint in WFG as well too. Then he went independent. I still wasn't ready to go down that path. but we've always collaborated very well on social media. And coincidentally enough, I think the stars aligned. We had a good conversation last week, and he decided to pull the trigger and come on board our platform. And I'll tell you, I'm hearing a lot of this from the independent guys. So if you guys aren't talking about this, you're shooting yourselves in the foot. What a lot of the independent guys are looking for right now is structure, back office systems. They want to be able to know that their agents can get contracted, can get training, can get appointed, can get systems in place where they can get answers to their Q&A as far as commissions are concerned, promotion guidelines are concerned, Zoom IDs. They want to know that there's a system in place for that, because it's very hard to build a business when you don't have any of that back office structure. And so a lot of the reason why Caleb made the decision to come on board over here was purely because of that. From what I've gathered from his personality, he's he's very technical, which is good for sales because he knows the products in and out. He is focused more on the higher wealth management type of solutions. So he's looking to be doing assets under management, high level indexed annuities, premium financing, which like I said, I think is something he's going to really enjoy talking about today. But he's out in the Utah area. Okay, has a lovely wife and child. They just recently moved out there. They were originally from California, and we're excited to be building with them. Caleb, are you able to unmute yourself? Can you say what's up for a minute?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Hey, bud. How are you, man? Good morning.
Good morning.
You want to give us kind of a quick 2 minutes on you, a little bit about your background, kind of what you're, what you like about the industry, what you're good at in the industry, a little bit of experience?
Sure. Yeah. You already said most of it, but yeah, started WFG. I used to do a lot of the advanced market sales training on the independent side and with some of the agencies I've worked with. I did a bit of a stint specifically on the state pension government employees side. So if you guys ever have questions, if you have a teacher or state employee, I can help give you guys some tips on that side on where to go to figure out how that works and how you guys can potentially either move some stuff over to accounts that you guys can handle, or
You accidentally muted yourself.
I enjoy the advanced market sales side, annuities, IULs, looking to get into premium finance. So very excited to work with you guys.
Nice. Guys, we are officially in Utah. I believe those licenses were already purchased. Am I right with that, Sandra? Yeah. So we are officially in Utah. If you have a market out there, not only are we officially in Utah and licensed, but we've got now we've got a heavy hitter with regards to production experience in the industry that we can gladly match up with if the client that you have seeks some more face-to-face, assuming obviously they're close within the state, right? Like it's a pretty big state. You call me up and tell me, hey, I want you to go work a client in Tallahassee. I'm going to tell you it's going to be Zoom because that's 7 hours away from me in Florida. So, but yeah, welcome him on board. He's little by little bringing in his agents and getting them transitioned in. Anyhow, let's get started here. So let's talk first about e-commerce. What exactly is e-commerce? Now, full disclosure, Carlos Colon is the owner of a company called Ace Financial Services. Okay, he is the king of kings when it comes to e-commerce. They've got close to 1,000 clients, 1,000 e-commerce stores that they're actively managing, and the returns are enormous. He was going to be here today, but unfortunately, he tested positive early this week for COVID. And it's his second time that he's had it, but I believe this second time around, he's actually got the Delta variant, because I reached out to him yesterday and he tells me that he feels horrible. He's fatigued. He still feels very weak. And so he's not able to participate today. So I said a prayer with him. We all wish him the very best. But he's not here essentially today. Now let me tell you a little bit about Carlos and really this whole program. And I'm going to explain how the e-commerce system works, because I've actually had some successes already with him. We've already acquired some clients, and really I'm able to, the way that I do it is I'm able to kind of filter out whether the person's even worth going and talking to Carlos beforehand, because of the experience that I already have with how the program works. Because I'll be honest, I don't want to just kind of tee up a meeting for him and the client isn't a qualified client for this particular service. Okay. But let me tell you about his platform. Okay. He comes from the insurance industry just like us. Okay. High net worth, heavy hitter. Does anywhere from 6.5 to 7.5 million in just annuity business on his personal pen on a yearly basis. So, you know, when you're talking someone that knows high volume, we're talking that kind of person. You know, he is a 7-figure earner. If you guys follow him on social media, he just bought the SUV Lamborghini. It's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie, kind of jealous. He lives in the Villages, Florida. So for those of you that are in the Orlando area, Orlando, Florida, the Villages is not far. That's like 45 minutes or so. Super humble guy. Every single time I've seen any agent talking to him, he's very, you know, give you the shirt off my back kind of mentality. He wants to help. He wants to, you know, do things. He runs that practice. And then what happened was he brought in e-commerce into his platform and it took off. He's been doing it now for about 6 years. It just completely took off to the point where now he pretty much brokers out anything insurance related. You know, he leverages TKO for that, where he just refers it out. Somebody else takes care of the sale because his 100% focus is his e-commerce platform. Okay. And think about what's going on right now in today's time with e-commerce. Think about how many people are purchasing online because of the pandemic, because of quarantine, because of social distancing reasons. I mean, I can tell you right now, my Amazon account has never seen more purchases in the last 2 years than it had in my entire life, to be honest with you, right? A few years ago, Walmart got into the e-commerce space as well too, and they developed their own what's called marketplace. This training that I'm going to give you is going to be a little bit more technical because I want you to understand it. It doesn't necessarily mean that what I'm giving you is exactly word for word what I tell the client, because you can confuse someone who doesn't know anything about finance. You can confuse the hell out of them. And if someone doesn't understand something, they'd rather not do it. Okay, so my training that I'm giving you today is not necessarily my client-facing presentation, but it's more to give you the ins and outs of how this vehicle works. Okay, Walmart a couple of years ago decided to get into the e-commerce space. And when a lot of people, when they think e-commerce, they just think .com, right? .com is right? It's a business that's ran online where you got to go to a website, hit .com, and you can purchase products, right? But when you run an e-commerce business, it's because you're putting your store in what's called a marketplace, right? A lot of people don't know this, but if you go to Walmart.com and you purchase, you're not always buying directly from Walmart. You're not always buying directly from Walmart. There are certain things that you buy it's directly from Walmart, but what Walmart did is they created a marketplace, which basically means they created a virtual world, right? Think of it like a virtual food market, right? Where people, consumers like you and I, can build our own business inside of that marketplace and promote our own products, so that when people go into this marketplace, aka Walmart.com, and they search for things, right? If you happen to have what they're searching for, your store pops up. Boom, there's the product, there's the price, there's the shipping and handling, go, right? So why did Walmart do that? Number one, you know, distribution of assets is clutch, guys. In the world of business, the bigger the distribution, the bigger the wealth. And it also allows Walmart to reduce their liability. So if I have a store, if Tanisha has a store, if Jennifer has a store, and we are running the ins and outs of that operation, and Walmart provides us access to their, you know, marketplace, right? AKA Walmart.com, right? That virtual market, they're not responsible for the product. We are, right? They're not responsible for the shipping. We have to come up with a shipping system. You get what I'm saying? They take a cut. That's where they generate their income. They take a cut of the revenues from every single store, but every single store is expected to remain compliant. Every single store is expected to have a delivery method, a customer service system. They're expected to have all those systems already in place, so on and so forth, right? So Walmart got into that space a couple of years back. If I had to hazard a guess why they did, is because they saw the noise that Amazon was making, right? Let's face it, Amazon is not a small company. You know what I mean? Amazon started off with nothing but online books, and look what they turned themselves into, you know, $1 trillion organization, right? Now, why am I telling you this? So that I can really expand your thought as to why this is such an amazing opportunity for you guys to learn about and to talk about to your clientele. Why? Here's why. This year, for the first time ever, Walmart's marketplace surpassed Amazon Marketplace in sales. Let me repeat that. This year, for the first time ever, Walmart's marketplace surpassed Amazon's marketplace in sales. Amazon, the $1 trillion company, the giant, the guru of gurus with regards to marketplace e-commerce sales. What does that tell you? It does, and I'm not telling you that all we set up, I'm not saying that the only thing Ace Financial sets up is Walmart stores or Amazon stores. What I'm telling you is this pandemic, this quarantine, this issue that we're all going through right now, anytime there's, I said this from the beginning when the pandemic first started, there's going to be 3 types of people with regards to this pandemic. 3 types in regards to this quarantine, 3 types. There's going to be the type of person that paralyzes themselves, fails. I'm talking about falls and burns because they just want things to go back to the way they were. They refuse to adapt and change. They refuse to adapt and change, and they fail, they burn. That's one type of person. The second type of person is the type of person that does just enough to get by because they're secretly crossing their fingers that things go back to the way they were. They say to themselves, you know what, I got to pay the bills. Let me do it this way, but I'm just going to do enough to sustain myself, to pay the bills because things are going to go back to the way they were. They're going to go back to the way they were. That person kind of runs idle. They don't crash and burn, but they don't elevate. That's the second type of person. And the third type of person is the ones that looks at adversity and says, there's a silver lining here. There's an opportunity here. I got to find it. There's an opportunity here. I just have to figure out what that opportunity is. That person has to be willing to adapt, has to be willing to change, has to be willing to learn. And that person will 10, 15, 20x themselves right now. They will. Guys, the top 3%, the top 2% right now of wealth in America, they have 10x, 100x their revenue, their net worth in the last year and a half because they have adjusted where they were going to invest their dollars. They adjusted what they were going to get into. And e-commerce is one of them. And the fact that a company like Walmart, as big as they are, because that's another giant, can come into a marketplace system just 3 years ago, and today, this year, they've outsold the guru, tells you that that's an opportunity. It validates that's an opportunity. It validates that that's an opportunity right now. So what exactly is this system of e-commerce? What exactly does it entail, right? So when you want to set up a business, right? Let me, can you get me my Sharpie? I don't know if I put them upstairs. Yeah, can you get me not my Sharpies, my dry erase markers? Sorry. I have 2 offices, one down, one up. Kind of depends on where the family's at, determines where I work. So it's upstairs right now. So when you're going to set up an e-commerce business, a couple of things you need to do. One, you need to set up a corporation. One, you need to set up a corporation. Number 2, you need to have the right licenses. You need to have that in place, right? Number 3, you need a marketplace that's willing to accept your business. Because if you create your own www.whatever-you're-gonna-sell.com, what is the chances of people going into that website to purchase your product if they don't know what the heck your website is? So the easiest way to do it is to go into a marketplace, right? Think about it like a mall, right? If you want to open up a little business, a Jamba Juice business or whatever, you know, where do people tend to try to open those up? They want to go to the mall and pay a monthly rent for a little booth because that mall brings what? It brings clientele. It's a revolving door of clientele coming in. So when you want to set up an e-commerce store, you need the corporation, you need the license, and then you need to find a marketplace that's willing to let you house your business. So what if the marketplace we have access to, thank you. What if the marketplace we have access to is Amazon, Walmart, not eBay, not Shopify, right? eBay is a marketplace, right? Remember back in the day, that wave of eBay, when you want to buy stuff online, you go to ebay.com. Amazon annihilated eBay. I mean, I don't know when the heck is the last time I went to eBay to go buy something. Does anybody here remember the last time they bought something from eBay? Watch, there's gonna be one person that's like, oh, there it is. It's DJ. It's DJ. What is it? What is it? What is it? DJ what?
So it's German. I'm pretty sure that Robert in Germany is Robert. Somewhere in Europe. Yeah. So I'm a little bit German. But yeah, I bought golf club.
Robert. So when's the last time you went to eBay?
It was at the beginning of the year. I got a golf club, a putter.
Okay, and before that?
Probably 2 or 3 years before. I usually just get golf equipment on there, to be honest.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, so that's what a marketplace essentially is, right? So you got to have your license, have your corporation, then you got to have a marketplace that's willing to accept you. To get into Walmart's marketplace or Amazon's marketplace is not easy. All right, that's like the giants. They have enough demand that they can filter out who they want to accept, who they don't want to accept. Right? What do they look for in order to approve a business? Number one, they want to know that you have experience in e-commerce businesses. They want to know that you've set up stores before. So they want to see your resume of an eBay store, a resume of your Shopify store. They want to see what your percentages of sales were, what your reviews were. They want to see that before they let you in, because they know how powerful their marketplace is. They want that, right? The only way you can get into those kinds of marketplaces, again, have the history, or you piggyback off of an existing platform that has been showing a strong success pattern with them. Ace Financial has close to 1,000 stores. So when you send your partner, your client that way, and they set up their store, they're piggybacking off of the reputation that Ace Financial has with those departments. So you get an automatic access to the best marketplaces, right? Now you have your store. What else do you need now? You need oh, here you go. Somebody's hopping in. Okay, so what's the other thing that you need? You need products. You need to have products, which means you need to find, developers, vendors. You need to find people that have a product that you can sell. Number one, you need to have a shipping method. And the shipping method there's 3 types of shipping methods. You can either have the creator of the product ship it. You can do what's called drop shipping, which means that there's a company contracted to pick up the product that you're buying and ship it to the client where it doesn't touch your hands. Or the traditional old school method, right? You buy the products yourself, people purchase the product from you, and then you spend your weekends, shipping stuff out, right? Notice how unattractive I'm making option 3 is. But that's what you need to set up a business, an e-commerce business. You need to have a product. You need to have a method to ship that product, right? What else do you need? You need a customer service, customer review department, like a complaints department for people that, didn't get the product to par, didn't have the quality that they wanted, want a refund of some sort. You need to have that. You know what you also need? You need to have a marketing and analysis team, a research and development team that can do enough research in the market space to let you know which products are in high demand and which ones aren't. Because this isn't about just picking a random product and posting it. If you're going to be successful in that space, you have to know which products are in high demand, right? Like if you guys had to guess right now, what products are going to be in high volume this next 2 months, some of you are thinking, gifts, kids' gifts, because it's Christmas time, right? It's the holiday time. If you're thinking that, you're right? But are you going to be able to tell what's in high volume in April, in May, when there isn't something big happening around the corner, right? There's algorithms, there's formulas, there's patterns. So now imagine if you're partnered up with a company that manages close to 1,000 stores that's been doing it now for just under a decade, right? They've got the research and development in place. They know what's selling, what's not selling. They know what's in high volume, what's not. They also have access to the product line at a wholesale price, right? Because that's the other thing. When it's not just about finding the product. You got to find the product at a low enough cost that when you buy it, you can mark it up and resell it. And remember, whatever you mark it up at, like if you buy it at this price and you mark it up to this price, this right here has to cover what? Has to cover the cost that the marketplace charges you, has to cover the shipping cost so that there's a net return that makes it profitable for you. You see how much goes into running a successful business of any kind. I'm just telling you, this is what it is to run an e-commerce type business, right? So what if I told you that Ace Financial is like property management company for e-commerce? It's turnkey. It's property management, right? Company for e-commerce. What's a property management company? In real estate, there's a lot of investors that they'll buy 5 or 6 different units, multifamily homes, apartment complexes, or single family homes. And they'll hire a property management company. And the property management company is responsible for what? For renting out the units, for collecting rent, for routinely checking on the location for maintenance requests, for evictions if people aren't paying, for everything. There's an investor who bought the property, but they hired the property management company, and the property management company takes a cut of the rent, but it's turnkey. They don't got to touch it no more. The property management company is responsible. So what's Ace Financial? Ace Financial is the property management company for e-commerce. It's turnkey. AKA, here's the most attractive phrase. You ready? It's passive income. It's passive income. So what does e-commerce, so what does Ace Financial do if you bring a client to them? They're going to say, listen, I'm going to present you exactly how e-commerce works. They have a client-facing presentation, right? They'll even show the client what other stores that they're currently doing are generating. They'll answer all the questions. And they'll say, look, we'll set up your corporation. We'll get the licenses. We'll get the approval into these 2 marketplaces, whether it's Walmart or Amazon, because we've got enough stores operating underneath our umbrella that they'll automatically approve us. We have the wholesalers in place. We have the research and development to know what products are in high demand. And as a matter of fact, internally, Ace Financial will take care of the day-to-day operations of your store. So we'll make sure every day that your stores are up and running, that your stores have the inventory, that your stores are being advertised, that we're adjusting the products that are being offered and solicited based on the demands of the market. And if anybody decides that they want to purchase a product, we take care of the delivery and shipping because we have that system in place already. And we'll take care of the refunds, the returns, the customer reviews, and everything to make sure your store stays high in the rankings. And let me tell you why they want your store to succeed, because it's profit sharing. If that store is generating income on a monthly basis, there's a percentage that Ace Financial retains, right? That's what you pay a property management company. A property management company keeps a percentage of the rent in order for them to do what they do. Ace Financial keeps a percentage of the net profit in order for them to do what they do. So they're incentivized to have a successfully running store. Does that make sense? Notice how in the very beginning, I gave you a list of stuff that, maybe some of you know some of it, but I can guarantee you a good amount of you don't know all of it. And I can guarantee you your consumer knows even less than that. It becomes cumbersome for them. It becomes super cumbersome for them to even be like, holy crap, I don't want to do that. I want to retire. That seems like I'm getting into business. I want to retire. So when you explain that whole process, you explain the demand that there is in today's world because of COVID-19 and the demand and technology and where it is. And then you introduce a company like Ace Financial that has the reputation of success, having close to 1,000 stores under their belt. And you explain the fact that they're gonna manage everything in and out of it. All you need to do is get a store set up and they'll take care of the rest, and you'll be able to get your deposits in. Can the client sit with Ace Financial and have consultations and take a look at the weekly returns and the net profits? Of course they can. Does the client have much say, however, in what products they're going to be pushed? No, you don't want the client to. It's turnkey. Passive income. It's passive income. Jennifer, I think you unmuted yourself. You had a question?
Yeah, so because I'm pretty ignorant to this whole e-commerce thing, so I want to get a much clearer understanding. So I have a friend who has an online store, but they are in the process of because they're trying to get the finances together to get all the licenses and whatnot. So is this something that would help them?
Yes.
Okay.
Now here's the difference though. This is when I explain to you the next step, the next phase, you'll understand. This is a hands-off type of opportunity. If your friend wants to be hands-on, wants to do it themselves, this is not for them. This is not. Mm-hmm. This is You've got to invest money into Ace Financial. They take care of the rest for you, right? They
Okay.
do it for you. So who's the ideal client? I'll tell you who the ideal client is. The perfect client is the client that's in their 50s and 60s that has $30,000, $40,000 that is in fear of not being able to retire. The perfect client is the 30, 40-year-old that understands passive income, that has 30, 40,000 put away, that would love to have, you know, 2-3 grand a month deposited into their bank account for the investment that they put up. But they understand passive income. That concept, passive income, is enormous to them, right? That's the ideal client, right? You know, is this something you want to talk to the affluent millionaire? Of course. Let me tell you something. Millionaires understand passive income. They understand multiple streams of income. So this language to them, I promise you, it's gold. It's gold. But when you're talking to the middle American market, those are the two types of people I see that are heavily interested in something like this. That 30 to 40-year-old that has 20, 30 grand, that wants to see $2,000, $3,000 a month come into their bank account from that investment. Or that 50 to 60-year-old that has 40, 50 grand put away, that is in fear that they're not going to be able to successfully retire. Let me tell you something. In life, I don't care how old you are, your biggest hurdle that you need to make sure is taken care of is income. Income. So ask yourselves this question. When you hit retirement, right, are you more concerned with how much is your lump sum net worth, or are you more concerned with how much monthly income is coming in to help you cover the cost of your living so you don't have to go back to work? Right? So for those of you that are showing yourselves on camera, right, watch this. Raise your hands if it's how much I have, what's my lump sum? Not many people, right? Raise your hands if what's more important to you is the monthly stream of income that provides your lifestyle. Exactly. It's an income conversation. And guys, what I'm telling you is this is the kind of conversation I have with my annuity client. I don't ask them, you know, oh, if you tell your client you need to have $1.5 million by the time you turn 65 if you want to retire, you know what they're going to do? They're going to throw their hands up. I'm done. I can't do it. They'd rather give up. They'd rather blow the money and live now. They're going to operate into the YOLO mentality, right? They're like, I'm never going to get to that goal, so I might as well enjoy it now. You only live once, YOLO. I'm going to spend my money now. You deflate. You completely deflate any hope that they had in reaching those goals. That's not how I talk to a client that's going to potentially be an annuity client or an e-commerce client. This is how I talk to them. I say, listen, how many years have you put in to working, and and out of all those years, how many years have you contributed to Social Security? They're going to give you their number, 20, 30 years. Okay. You and I can agree that although Social Security is changing and it's at risk, there's going to be something in place. Let's just say, worst case scenario, Social Security gives you $1,000 a month. It's $1,000 a month. Let me ask you a question. When you hit 65, right? Assuming you're debt-free, you've paid off all of your debts. How much money do you think you're going to need on a monthly basis to support yourself? What's that number that needs to come into I'm not talking about a luxury. We're not talking about Taj Mahal type life, right? If you want a Taj Mahal life, you got to first build the foundation. I'm talking about the foundation. What's your bare minimum number on a monthly basis you need to see come into your bank account so that you can comfortably say to yourself and say to your spouse, we don't have to go back to work and we can start living a modest retirement? What's that number? You know what most people will tell you? 3 to 4 grand. That's what most people in middle America will tell you, 3 to 4 grand. You know what your goal now is? To fill that gap. So if the client says to you 3 grand, right? 3 grand will do it. Assuming I'm debt free, my house is paid, 3,000, no problem. Okay. $1,000 Social Security. So now you have a $2,000 a month shortage. My job now is to replace that is find a way for you to fill that $2,000 gap. $2,000 gap. You know how easy it is when you talk to a client that shows you $100,000, $150,000 put away into an old 401k. how you can show them how a fixed index annuity deferred for 15, 20 years, 25 years if possible. And then you turn on the income stream, how it could easily fulfill that $2,000 gap. It starts making them feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? Oh my God. My ideal annuity client, 40, 45. You give me a 40, 45-year-old with 100 grand. Guys, that person, I guarantee you 99% of the time, they will become a client. They will become a client. You give me a 50-year-old with 250,000. I'm never, when I present an illustration on an annuity, I'm not showing what the lump sum, this is how much it's worth. I touch on it. I'm not going to say that I don't show it, but you know what I hit hard on? This is how much income it's going to spit out to you every single year, 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 no matter what. And when you used up all of your money, guess what it's going to continue to do? It's going to continue to spit out that income every single year, every single year, every single year. You're never going to have to worry about outliving your money. So between that and Social Security, I've now covered $3 grand or $4 grand a month worth of your income. Anything that you now do in addition to is not, we've already built the foundation. Now we're building the walls. Now we're building the second floor, right? Now we're building that Taj Mahal retirement, right? Why do I say this to you? That same language is the same language I have with people with e-commerce. E-commerce is for the person that has, like I said, 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 is ideal. 50 is ideal. 30, 40, 50, ideal number. And they're saying to you, I don't have enough. If you put that money into an annuity right now and you defer for 10, 15, 20 years, it's still not going to spit out enough money. It's not. So I need another solution. And by the way, the solution that I need needs to spit out money now, not 15 years from now. If it's a 15-year goal, listen, an annuity will fix it. An annuity will help them. But if the person says to you, I want to start generating income now, an annuity is not the answer. Not all the time. It won't be all the time. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Okay, how fast is the investment return? Okay, so e-commerce starts giving you monthly income with between 90 to 120 days after you set up your store. That's the attraction. Mr. Client, what if I could show you a way where you're 30 grand, right? You're $30,000 or you're 40 or you're 50, can start giving you a 10% return within 90 days. Wait, Mr. Client, let me explain what I mean by that. I'll get my calculator. You put up 30 grand, 10% of that is $3,000. What if by the 90th day, third month, fourth month, this investment starts giving you $3,000 a month, passive income that you didn't have to do anything for other than put up the money? Would that be of interest to you? Would that give you the peace of mind of what you're looking for? Right? You know what the 30, 40-year-old looks at that and says? Heck yeah, I don't have to work as hard anymore. Or if I'm a business owner, I built myself a salary. I'm 38 years old. And I'm going to tell you right now, this year, the bulk of my money went into opening up the FMO. Another big bulk of my money right now is tied up into crypto, and crypto is not a place I want to take my money out of right now. It's in a down market. I'm in places right now that if they go the way I'm hoping they go, it'll be a whole nother conversation a year or two from now, right? So I refuse to touch that right now. Honestly, all I'm doing in that right now is I'm putting more in and just waiting, right? I've got another big bulk of my money tied into my own IULs. But let me tell you, this time next year, my plan, I'd like to have 2 stores. I'd like to have one store in Sandra's name, another store in my name, because being a business owner is beautiful. You make great income. But if I can get that store to give me a salary, if I can get each of those stores to pay me 3 grand, 4 grand a month, it gives peace of mind to Sandra. It gives peace of mind to me. There's a baseline. That's what the 30 to 40-year-old loves. The 55 to 60-year-old that says, I want to retire now, but can't, now all of a sudden will feel like they possibly can. They can. Right? So I'm giving you the ideal client, I'm giving you the verbiage, right? How does the program now really work, right? This is the nitty gritty of it. Ace Financial is going to charge you a fee, they're going to charge the client a fee to set up the store everything, get it up and going, get it up and going. That fee, just so you guys know, typically ranges about 25,000, but, okay, but through the relationship that I've established with them, anybody that comes through that they know is either a TKO agent or a TKO client, the minimum cost is 22,000. That's the fee that he charges them upfront. None of that money is used towards inventory. All of that money is used to the creation of the store, the administration of the store, the back, everything that has to do with getting your store up and going. Once the store is created, that client now needs to have a line of credit, and that line of credit is what's going to be used for inventory. Now, this isn't one of those, oh man, wait a minute. So my line of credit is 20 grand. Are you going to buy $20,000 worth of material and try to sell it? No. Now that's the old school method, right? That's the back in the day method. That's the, you know, you guys ever seen, what's that movie called? Pursuit of Happiness. Will Smith buys a bunch of those little, those scanners. That's the old school method. No, you need to have a line of credit, right? Or you need to have additional money in a bank account that's tied to a debit card that has a Visa logo on it, right? But the idea with that line of credit is when the store sells something, your card is charged, that person's card is charged the wholesale price, but they sold it for a retail price. But in order for a store to go live with Amazon or Walmart, you need to be able to show Amazon or Walmart that you have a line of credit attached to it. Because they need to know that if a client buys something, your store has the liquidity to buy that product right then and there, ship that product right then and there to make the net profit. This isn't one of those, oh crap, I just bought a bunch of stuff and put it in my garage, or oh my God, I just bought 20 grand worth of stuff and it's sitting in Ace Financial's warehouse. No, Ace Financial's the property, it's the management company. So 22 grand to start the store and then a line of credit. The return is anywhere from 10. He says this number, and it's hard for me to say it. I've been in this industry a long time. 10 to 20%. It's hard for me to say that 20% number. It's 10 to 20% return. And here's what's crazy. His stores are doing it. I'm seeing his stores are doing it. 10 to 20% monthly return. Let me repeat that again. This isn't 10 to 20% annual return. This is 10 to 20% monthly return. So now let's say it's a 10% return and you got a $30,000 line of credit that's revolving. You're making 10% of that. What's that? 3 grand a month. 3 grand a month, 3 grand a month, 3 grand a month, 3 grand. 40,000 line of credit. What's that? 4 grand a month, 4 grand a month, 4 grand a month. He's got stores right now with $100,000 lines of credits. And he's showing me $10,000 to $12,000 a month in net return. That's take home. Because here's what ends up happening. You put up a $30,000 line of credit and you sell $30,000 worth of inventory. You're going to make 30,000 plus the 10%, which means 33,000. You make 33. What do you do out of that 33? You take 30, pay off that line of credit, zero it out for next month, and you keep the 3 grand as your net profit. Does that make sense? So you need to know when you're filtering out the client, Mr. Client, either you need to have 50K. Why? Because 22 to set up the store, and then the other 27 can be your line of credit, right? You put that money in a credit card, in a bank card with a Visa logo, and you attach that card to the store. Or if you've got really good credit, Mr. Client, all you got to do is put up the 22 grand to set up the store. And then whatever line of credit you have, whether it's a secured credit card or a business line of credit or an equity line of credit, you attach that as your inventory. That's what you use to purchase your inventory. So, Tanisha, question, does the line of credit have to be business credit or can it be personal? It could be either or. They just need a line of credit. So the last store that we set up, it was kind of funny. I sat in on the consultation. The client does not believe in credit. It took everything in my power not to unmute myself and say, what are you talking about? But, right, you got to respect the client. This does not believe in credit. Does not believe in credit. But he had $75,000 to invest. So you know what he did? He set up a $30,000 store. and he took another $30,000 and he put it into a bank account, and he had that bank account get a debit card with a Visa logo, and he attached that Visa to the store. So that became his line of credit. That just became it. So he's not using credit, he's just using cash to do it, right? But you just need a line of credit. It could be business credit, it could be a personal credit, it could be, like I said, an equity line, it could be whatever it needs to be. But it becomes passive income. Now, that 10 to 20% return is a 60-40 split. 60% to the client, 40% to Ace Financial. Remember, property management, right? They take a cut. You're working with a company that wants their 40% to be big, so they got to do right by the stores. So if the store makes a 20% return, the client keeps 60% of that, which means what? 12%, 26, 60, 12% return. 12% return is what the client gets. If the store makes 10%, then the client makes 6%, right? So you need to understand that 10 to 20% is the gross, it's almost like the gross net. It's what you made after shipping costs, after what do you call it, product cost. That's what comes into the store. But Ace Financials, they keep 40% of that as their profits for obviously running the business for you. You take home the 60, right? Here's something I absolutely love, and this is a part that when I heard it, I had to ask it again because it'll drop your jaw in a way. Okay. He has a buyback guarantee within the first year. That's like a return of premium writer on an insurance policy. So this is what he says. This is how the program works. You put up 30 grand to set up your store. He'll guarantee that by the end of the year, you'll get back more than 30 grand. But if before the year is up, you don't feel like your store is doing what it needs to do, he'll buy back the store from you and give you the 30 grand that you upfront invested. So you don't have to feel like, oh my God, I'm putting up my money and I'm risking it. I'm risking, what if I lose it? What if I paid this guy $22,000 to set up the store and the store doesn't sell anything? Holy crap. If you don't feel comfortable within that first year, you could say, hey, listen, I'm going to sell you my store back. And he'll write you a check for the dollar amount that you invested. So you're made whole. The client is made whole. They walk away not having lost a single thing within the first year. Pretty cool, right? You know where I found this to be a perfect place? Again, that client that has $30,000, $40,000, that client that doesn't necessarily want to defer that product for 10, 15 years into an indexed annuity, that client that wants to start, quote unquote, annuitizing and drawing income out early. Perfect option. And here's the crazy part. It pays you like an annuity. You get paid a percentage of the upfront cost. So if it's a $22,000 store and you're getting paid 7 points, let's just say, right? $22,000 store times 7 points, it's a $1,500 commission. Non-charge backable. How cool is that? Does anybody have any questions? Nobody has any questions? Let me see. How do taxes and financials work for the store? Da, 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 da. Okay, so Tanisha, great question. Tanisha, we're gonna set up an LLC for the business, so it's a full-fledged business, which means the business will have business expenses. And the other thing that Ace Financial will do with every single client is they'll put them through a tax preparations workshop, almost like a clinic, to show them how, when they're drawing out the income, they can do it in a tax favorable way. A couple of the techniques that I've already seen them teaching some of our existing clients is setting up, is putting their children on payroll. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you start making, good income like that, you can put your kids on payroll, literally payroll. It's a tax write-off to you as a business owner. And the income you're paying your kids, you can use to what? To support them, to buy groceries, to pay the electric bills, to buy them school supplies, to buy them clothing for school. You can, so all the stuff that you use, all the stuff you spend now with your kids, you can write it off as though you're putting them on payroll.
Tony, I learned about a double write-off to where you pay the kids, it's a 12K maximum per child. And then you open up their own account, bank account, to get them life insurance and pay the life insurance through that account. Like it completely avoids so many tax different. I mean, you'll obviously have to talk to Gloria about that, but yeah, there's
For sure.
a lot of cool rules like that.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, I want you to understand one of the best places to avoid taxes is through what's called being a business owner, being self-employed. That's been my number one benefit. So if you're setting up your own e-commerce store as an LLC, you now have that tax write-off ability, and his firm will work with the clients and showing them how to design, how to create those tax benefits and those tax write-offs. Because, you know, you're right, whatever profits that company makes is a 1099 to the client and then taxes. So you want to be able to reduce that.
Tony,
Tony, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. I think that was Rob trying to help me out. He muted everybody. Can you hear me?
sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
This is Liz. Hello.
Yes, Liz.
What determines eligibility and what's the minimum age to set this up for someone?
Yeah, so you have to be old enough to have your own LLC, so 18 years or older, right? You got to be able to create your own corporation. The big question a lot of people have, and I'll answer right now because I'm sure it's going to come, is do you need to have citizenship status or resident status? You just need to have the ability to work. If you have permission to work in the United States, you can create your own corporation, therefore you can get into this type of business, right? Eligibility, this isn't like health insurance, life insurance, where you could get declined. I will tell you this, Ace Financial does a really good job of vetting out people who qualify for this and people who don't. Because, and this is why I say this, just because someone has the $22,000 or the $30,000, I mean, there's different variations of stores. Just because someone has the upfront money to set up the store doesn't mean that Ace Financial is just going to accept them in, because remember, they have a reputation to maintain. They've got to keep a great track record of successful stores, because if that number starts to drop, it affects their ability to bring more stores in to Amazon and Walmart's platform. So the type of people they're looking for are the people that are genuinely looking to invest because they want passive income. It's got to be a passive income conversation, not a, this is the only thing I have, this is my only nest egg I have. You get what I'm saying? Like, that type of person wouldn't be a good fit. And that's the type of suitability questions that Ace Financial will have when they have their consultation with them. Does that answer your questions?
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Does anybody have any other questions? Okay. So I want you guys to know that you have that in your tool belt. You don't need an insurance license to offer it. You don't even need to run the meeting yourself. The way that you do it, what we remember now, you know now what you're looking for, right? You're looking for that younger client that has, 25, 30 grand that they'd like to invest in order to start generating passive income now. That's the person, that's one type of person. Second type of person is the person that's nearing retirement, that feels like they don't have enough money to retire and would love to make an extra 3-4 grand now on a monthly basis, right? That could help them pull the plug on retirement. Those are the two types of people you're looking for as far as mindsets. As far as liquidity, you want them to have, the 25, 30 grand, right? If they have really good credit, because then they can use a line of credit to offset the rest, or you want them to have about 50 grand if they don't have good credit, because half of that will be used to set up the store, the other half will be used as the line of credit to fund the sale of the products. That's what you're looking for, right? What you're doing is, if you find a client that fits in that, I'm going to share my screen here with you and show you how simple this is. Come on. Wake up, keyboard. Here we go. That's what happens when you do with Bluetooth keyboards. and you haven't typed in a little bit. Come on. Oh crap, there it is. Okay. Let me share here with you. When you're logged into our website, our TKO website, all you're doing, once you vetted out that person, you're going all the way down here to, where is it? Where's e-commerce? There it is, e-commerce. And you're gonna fill out this referral form. Client's name, your upline VP, if there's a secondary agent involved, right? Phone number, email of the client, and then tell us a little bit about it. This information pushes to Ace Financial's administrative team, which means that person will get a phone call or an email from them requesting a Zoom meeting. Okay. How I would be doing it if I were you, this is how I would be doing it. Okay. I would be in communication with the client. Once this has been sent out, I'd be in communication with the client to see, if they've made contact and if they've scheduled a meeting, and if they have scheduled the meeting, what's the Zoom ID so that you could join that meeting, right? Ace Financial will sometimes send you, the agent, the Zoom ID as well too, so you can participate in it if you want to participate, or you let them handle the meeting on their own. Let them meet. They're gonna either meet with two other people. I don't remember their names off the top of my head, but more than likely they'll meet directly with Carlos, the owner of the company. And that's a favor he's done for me because I've got a good relationship with him. And I did say to him, I prefer my guys have access directly to you. You're the best. I've seen all of they're all good. They're all great, but he's the best. And so you don't need a license to do this. This is great for my final expense agents, right? You're selling a final expense product to a client, they're in retirement, they're over 65, they're on Social Security. You do a little bit of fact finding and digging, you find out they got, 30, 40 grand sitting in an IRA. Right? I mean, a 65-year-old to 70-year-old with 40 grand sitting in an IRA is not excited about that 40 grand. It's a reminder to them that they wish they would have done more when they were still working, because they know it's not enough to retire them. That's perfect. That's a perfect client right there, because you can now then talk to them about, what if I could, this is the language I would say, right? Mr. Client, you got 35, 40 grand in there. What if I could turn 30 grand or 40 grand into $3,000, $4,000 a month within the next 90 to 120 days? Right? How different would your lifestyle be if you were able to make 3 grand a month, 4 grand a month now, on top of your Social Security? Would that give you a little bit more peace of mind, more flexibility, more comfort in your retirement? Well, yes, it would. Well, we should talk. I've got something you might be interested in that could generate that type of income for you and have the security of knowing that you can get 100% of your money back that you invest within the first year if you decide that it's not for you. Would you care to learn more? Well, yes. That's all. That's what you're looking for. That's your ideal client right there. That's your ideal client. Ideal client right there. You don't even need to be licensed for this product because it's not an insurance product, but it's a great tool to have. It's a phenomenal tool to have. This is why we developed TKO to be a financial network, not an insurance agency. I wanted access to alternative investments. And I want you guys to all have access to it as well too. And do me a favor, when you get one of those cases, fill me in, let me know. We've helped 4 clients thus far. We partnered with Ace Financial 4 months ago, 5 months ago, somewhere around there. Okay, we've now helped out 4 clients. And what's crazy about it is, because I talk to him frequently and I see, if you're not on Carlos's social media, you should be. Carlos Colon. Okay, he's a bald-headed Puerto Rican guy. He's lighter skinned than me. He's like George Canavasi's colors. He's not pasty white, right? He's kind of caramel. Bald-headed. He's got tattoos up his sleeves because he does not because of any reason. He has tattoos because he has tattoos. I have a bunch of tattoos also. He does MMA boxing as a hobby. Super humble, super good guy. Follow him. He is I mean, if there's anybody that'll motivate you, he'll motivate you. He's always talking about entrepreneurship. He's always talking about capitalism. He's always talking about all that stuff, but he'll sometimes even screenshot the results of some of his stores. And he'll show you, I mean, 10 for 10, 15%. Carlos Colon, C-O-L-O-N. He's in the Villages. He's more on Instagram than anything. He has a program on his Insta. He has a program as well, because this business does a number of different things. He has a program where for IG, where if you subscribe to his program, I think it's like $2,000. In like a month, he'll add like 30,000 people into your IG followers. Like it's 50,000 people into your IG. It's crazy. He's got like 300 something thousand people following him. He does a lot of his business sales right from IG. Same way I do, right from IG. So follow him. You can leverage some of that stuff there. He's super humble guy, super humble guy. Like I said, he was going to be here today to run this class that I just ran. He does it a lot better than I do, and he actually has something to present and to show you. And he'll log into his back office and show you what the stores are doing. It's kind of cool. It almost looks like the New York Stock Exchange with the numbers kind of. It's cool seeing stores, selling and buying, selling, right? Super humble, but unfortunately because of bald guy, correct. Unfortunately because of he's unhealthy right now because of COVID. He's kind of going through it right now. He wasn't able to participate in today's training. But super good guy, super good guy. You know where else you'll see him? Actually, my apologies. He's on our website. Let me show you him. If you go into, If you go into, this top area here is public to all of your clientele. You got to be an agent to have this drop down, but this is all public to your clientele. So if you go right here to agencies, you'll see the majority of the VPs have given me their info. There's Carlos. That's Carlos right there. There's his company, Ace Financial Services Group. All right. So if you're a VP on today's training, I need your headshot, I need your agency logo, and I need your bio, right? Caleb, you're new to the organization. I'm going to need that as well from you, if possible. You got it already from Caleb?
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. But if you're not, make sure you get on here. And if your business plan goal next year is to become a VP, I want you to start envisioning. Ooh, look at Dominance Financial. I didn't even know you added that one in there. Boy, make me looking good, man. Look at that. That's one of our newest VPs as well. Joel Acosta out in the Orlando area. Anyways, that is Carlos. Hopefully that helps out. Let me ask this question. Was this beneficial, this type of education on knowing some of your resources that you have? Okay, sometimes you're going to meet with people where it's a health insurance conversation. Sometimes it's a life insurance conversation. Sometimes it's an annuity conversation. I absolutely hated meeting with a client that had $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, had only 3-4 years left to retire. And the only option I had at that time was an annuity. And the only thing I was focusing on trying to find was something with a very short surrender period, knowing that the shorter the surrender period is, the lower the return they had the potential to make. I hated it, knowing that these options were there when I was a field agent. So now these options are there for you guys to provide. These options are there, guys, for you to provide. You help a client start making an extra $3-4 grand a month. I promise you, you are their angel. You were their angel sent from above, and they will do further business with you as well, too, out of those dollars that they're generating. They'll start talking to you about estate planning. They maybe what'll happen is they'll go from a final expense that costs $60-70 a month to a GUL that costs $300 a month. But because of that extra passive income they're making, they can now afford it. And they can afford the $300 a month GUL that gives them coverage until 100 with living benefits that increase their face amount from 10,000 final expense to 150,000, right? Because you did right by them. And in the same token, you did right by your family because you're getting paid a very decent commission. I mean, $1,500, that's not a bad commission, especially since you're not even the person having to underwrite it and run the meeting. You're finding the client, sending the referral, and then doing a good job following up, letting the client know you're still there and what's going on. And then keep me in the loop as well, too, because I'll call Carlos up and be like, hey, what's happening with this case? What do you feel is happening with this case? Give me your vibe. Does that make sense? Any questions? Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, Tony, I have a question. Let's say next year I set up my corporation, I become non-agency, and what if I partner with people that do online marketing, but not necessarily want to do life insurance? So as a source of getting people.
Ask me that question again. I'm a little bit confused.
Yes, for this e-commerce only, will be beneficial for me to recruit people that are on the online marketing area that where they can refer me clients for the e-commerce.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Not necessarily have to be licensed, but will be that beneficial for me?
Yeah, I never thought about it that way, but I mean, I would assume if you were to recruit a couple people that have experience in online businesses, that they probably know other people who do. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, it's not a bad, you know, it's like with our credit repair business, I partnered up with realtors and mortgage brokers because I know they have access to a list of people who have bad credit. Like, it's kind of like that mindset. It won't hurt you, if that makes any sense.
Right, and then when it comes to compensation, that could be split, correct?
Yeah, the reason that the referral link has 2 agents on there is because if you are working with another agent, like a field trainer, and in the field training meeting, your certified field trainer finds an e-commerce opportunity, then yes, you guys are working that case together. You guys are splitting that case together. Okay. Cool.
Thank you.
All right. As an agent, let me tell you this as an agent, because we've had a couple of agents even set themselves up with some of these stores. Okay. You as an agent do not receive a commission for your own store. What happens is the store gets reduced from 25,000 to 22,000. So you get a $3,000 discount on your store, but you don't receive a commission for that store's setup. Your upline does. All right. We're treating e-commerce the same way we would treat life insurance with internal consumption. The upline is the one that's going to get it because the agent themselves is getting that $3,000 cut off the cost. So the commission is going to roll up to the upline. Okay. Any further questions? You don't know what you don't know. Okay, good. Gerzo posted his IG, right? At official_Carlos_Cologne. You can follow him. Super humble guy. Like I said, you'll love it. He's a beast. He's a set, guys. Just so you know, he did $6.5 million in the annuity business. His personal writing pen just a couple of years ago with Lincoln Financial. So trust me when I tell you, he's a world of knowledge and he's a great asset to have on the team. Okay. Anyways, on to the next subject, and then we'll take a quick break. Okay. We've covered e-commerce. We've covered the business planning meeting. We've covered the schedule. Good. I want to talk about deliveries. I want to talk about delivery meetings. Okay. How many of you guys, be honest, because I was guilty of this. Okay. How many of you guys run official delivery meetings with all your clients where you meet with them, you go over the policies that you sold them, you make sure if they don't have that if they have any other questions, you can answer it. How many of you guys do that? Takira, got you. Jennifer Jung, got you. Anybody else? Rob, got you. Caleb, got you. Okay. There's 20 people on right now. 5. That means that the rest make this cardinal sin. It's a sin to do it, where you just mail the policy to your client and you don't go over it. And why? Because some agents make that mistake because they look at it like, oh, I already made my sale, I already made my commission. Number one, you shouldn't do that. You should do right by the client and go over the policies one last time. But number two, you're missing out on some huge opportunities, huge cross-selling, upselling opportunities, referral opportunity. You really are missing out on a lot of it because that's the initial domino of how to work inside of what's called your B.O.B. B.O.B is an acronym for Book of Business. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what I do from the moment the application is taken to help build and develop that book of business. Okay. Because I look at that book of business as a valuable tool for my future growth. Okay. Number one, and please take notes on this stuff because I I've been in this industry so long that I've learned that sometimes I hit record in my head and I just go. And sometimes I'm talking faster than people can keep up with. So take notes and feel free to unmute yourself and tell me to slow down if I need to, because this has been my process for years. Number one, when I take an application, I always get contingent beneficiaries. A lot of agents skip out on that. The reason I get contingent beneficiaries is because whoever anybody assigns as a contingent beneficiary typically tends to be a relative not in the immediate household that I'm working. So if I'm, putting insurance on mom and dad, the beneficiaries, right, are number one, don't ever make children the beneficiaries. Okay, a lot of people make that mistake. Don't make a minor a beneficiary. The insurance company reserves the right to hold those dollars until the children turn 18 years of age. And if they need that money, you're stuck like Chuck. That's number one. But the primary beneficiary tends to be, who they would want to leave their children with, which is a great referral source. But contingent, actually, my apologies, I'm lying. The primary beneficiary tends to be each other, spouse, right? So husband assigns the spouse, the wife as beneficiary, wife assigns the husband as beneficiary. That's primary. You're still working in the same house. Second, contingent beneficiaries tends to be people outside of the house. It's people that you are not financially responsible for. It's people where there's another budget, there's another stream of income, there's another decision maker. And that person more than likely tends to be the person that is also going to be the guardian of the children. If you don't get contingent beneficiaries, you're shooting yourself in the foot when it comes to getting referrals and working inside of that family tree. You want to plant a nest in that family tree. And you want to be able to gain the opportunity to jump from branch to 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 branch. And how it starts is with contingent beneficiaries. Now, here's my language. Once I get the contingent beneficiaries, right? My initial language is this. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Klein, if something happened to both of you guys today, right? If both of you are gone, who would you entrust with your children? And is that the same person you would entrust with your money? Sometimes it's a yes, sometimes it's a no. Be respectful. Be respectful. If someone says, what would you suggest? I'll tell you what I suggest. I suggest whoever you entrust with your children is not the person you entrust with your money. Separate them. Separate them. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all wrong with that. If something happens to me, my kid's mother takes my children, but my mom gets the money, and my mom will make sure that that money is used for my children the right way. Right? That's just my success, how I am, right? But that's the question I asked, Mr. and Mrs. Klein, if something happens to both of you, who would you entrust with your children? And who would you entrust with your money? And is that the same person? If they say no, great, find out who they are. Now you're starting to work inside the family tree, right? Now, what you also want to do before you leave that application meeting, right? You're closing, taking applications. You haven't delivered it yet. You're just submitting up. You're just getting the data you need to take the application. You then ask the client this, Mr. and Mrs. Klein, I want you to understand, I have a fiduciary responsibility. Look at my language. Look at my verbiage. I have the fiduciary responsibility of making sure that your contingent beneficiaries know exactly what this policy does and does not do. Mr. and Mrs. Klein, do you know how many people put insurance in place and something happens to them and their beneficiaries have no idea that these insurances are even there? Years go by before they realize that there were things in place that could have helped the financial burden of the loss. It's my fiduciary responsibility to set up a 15 to 20-minute phone call with your contingent beneficiaries and let them know what company you applied with, what's the face value, and where and how to get access to that money in more ways than just a death benefit, but also a living benefit. Right? Mr. and Mrs. Client, what's a good direct number to reach out to these individuals? And can you do me a favor and let them know ahead of time that I'll be calling them so that they don't think I'm trying to pitch them something on the phone? Boom, boom, boom. You know what I've created for myself? I've already created 2-3 meetings. And I'm going to have those meetings, guys. I'm going to have those meetings while in underwriting. While my client is in underwriting, I'm having those meetings. While my client's in underwriting, I'm calling those people and hosting those meetings. Now, when I call them, hi, Mr. Client, hi, contingent beneficiary. Hi, Mr. Contingent Beneficiary. My name is Tony Martinez. I'm the financial representative for your uncle, Billy Bob here, who just recently applied for insurance. Let me tell you what I just said though. I just said financial representative. You cannot say you're a financial advisor unless you have a Series 7 license or you're a CFP. You say you're a financial advisor and don't have the licenses, and you deal with the wrong person that knows that rule, you can put yourself into a lot of problems. So you could be a financial specialist, you could be a financial strategist, you could be a financial representative, you can do all that kind of stuff. You cannot call yourself a financial planner, you cannot call yourself a financial advisor. Okay? And what I love about this is this is a recorded training. So I've done my due diligence and my compliance in letting my agents know what they can and can't do. So when you call, again, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you, Billy Bob. My name is Tony Martinez. I'm the financial representative, or I'm the financial strategist, or I'm the insurance agent, however you want to put it, right? That's handling the insurance application for your Uncle Joe. It's my fiduciary responsibility to let you know, number one, congratulations, you have been entrusted. Look what I just said, you have been entrusted to be the beneficiary that responds for this insurance in the event that something happens. My job now is to go over how this plan works, what it does, what it doesn't do. Because in the event something happens, your uncle won't be able to respond and tell you what it does because he would no longer be here, or he would be in the hospital and need you to be able to respond. When can we set up a 20-minute Zoom meeting where I can go over this plan with you? That's my phone call, then a Zoom. Now, you cannot release your client's confidential information. You're not going to release their income. You're not going to release their assets. You're not going to release their budget. You're not going to release their social, their date of birth. You're not releasing any of that, but you can release what the product does. You can release that. Okay. Now, what kind of conversation you want to have in that meeting? You want to let the client know what's the company they're doing business with, right? You want to give a little, like most companies in the illustration software have one page that has like a company overview. How long the company's been around, how many assets, what's it rated by A and B, by you know what I mean? By standard, and by it's got enough background on the company. You want to give that. Mr. Client, I want you to know your uncle's working with this company. This company's got 100 years of age. It's 20 billion in assets, A-rated by some of our creditors. Just so you know, I'm talking about American National right now. I sell a decent amount of American National, so I already know that pitch. It's in their illustration software, right? This is what's called, this policy is a permanent insurance policy, and I want to go over it with you, Mr. Klein, or this policy is a term insurance policy. I want to go over it with you. And you can go over it. This is the face value, right? This is how long it's going to last, right? It's a cash accumulating, like go do the illustration. But you know what it does? There's education. There's education in knowing what the policy doesn't do. I repeat, there's education in explaining to the client what the policy doesn't do. So if it's a permanent policy, go over what the policy doesn't do, which is term insurance. Explain what term does. Explain what a GUL does. You know what I do? I explain what this policy does. Actually, let me back step. You know what I do when I get into the meeting? I do a 4 types of insurances presentation. I do that presentation, 4 types of insurances. If you don't know where to find 4 types of insurances, you go into the TKO website, you log in, you go down to the FNA module, and you do an actual module on yourself, right? And you'll see in that module, there'll be a YouTube link at one point that says 4 types of insurances. Watch that presentation. I present to them the 4 types of insurances. And after I've presented the 4 types of insurance, I ask the client, I go, I'm not the client, the contingent beneficiary, I go, Mr. and Mrs., whatever your name is, which of these 4 policies do you believe your uncle purchased? See what I did there? I just presented all 4 to this person. And then I ask them, which one do you think that your uncle has? Right? It's a great cross-selling opportunity because if you get to educate them for 20 minutes on the types of insurances, you might get that client to say to you, I didn't know that existed. Or wait a minute, I didn't know that. I have this policy. The moment they start asking questions like that, you're in. You're in, guys. I promise you, you're in. I didn't know that there was 4 types. I didn't know insurance had a return of premium. I didn't know I could build cash. My policy doesn't do that. Well, Mr. Client, what do you have? Who is it with? Well, I have State Farm. Oh, Mr. Client, do you know State Farm doesn't have those living benefits that we just talked about? I didn't know that at all. How long have you had it, Mr. Client? I've had it only 3 years. Mr. Client, are you willing to look at a comparison? Well, yes, I am. Now you're in. So by being able to do the 4 types of insurances and then say to the client, Mr. Client, which of these 4 do you believe your uncle has? You got a chance to present. That's all you're trying to do. An entrepreneur's job is to present their product. I don't care what you sell. Look, let me pick up something stupid on my desk. I could be a seller of this stapler. I'm not making a stapler, of this tape. But if I'm not presenting this tape to countless people, I'm not selling my product and I'm not generating income. My job as an entrepreneur is to present my product every single day to as many people as I possibly stinking well can. That's my job. You're an insurance agent. Your job is to present insurance to as many stinking people as you possibly can. Some will say yes, some will say no. Typically, those who say yes are not the ones that you expected to. Typically, the ones that say no are not the ones that you expected to. So you got to go in without a bias. Don't assume anything. Talk to everyone. So contingent beneficiary gives you an easy door in. Their guards are down. They're willing to listen to you. You're in the family. And all you do, you present the 4. And then which of these products do you think that the client, that your uncle took? And let them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of forced selling. You're not trying to push someone into a sale. Your job is to present. If you want to ask 1 or 2 questions that are kind of poking and prodding, that are, you're tiptoeing, this is the kind of question I would ask. Mr. Client, out of these 4, which one do you currently have? There's nothing wrong with that. And tiptoe and read their body language, read how they respond to see if they're comfortable talking. If they are talking, if they're not, back up. Don't be a pushy salesman. There's nothing worse than a pushy salesman. Sandra's been laughing at me for the last couple of days. I've been getting these freaking crazy calls on the phone for, any of you guys get these calls for like small business investment funding groups? They want to loan you $50,000 unsecured credit because you have a business and a corporation and da. I get those calls all the time. I'm polite about it with the guy. Listen, I'm not interested. I don't hang up. I don't know why I don't. I should, but I don't because because I'm in sales, I don't want to be that guy. But I tell them, look, listen, I'm not interested. I'm okay. But if they keep pushing, Sandra laughs every time I do it. I get on the phone, I go, okay, listen, let me ask you a question. Do you work on commissions? You do. Okay, look, it is 11:45 in the morning right now. I'm going to waste 30 minutes of your time listening to you ramble on. I'm going to ask you 1,001 questions and I'm not going to purchase a single thing. So let me know how much your 30 minutes is worth to you. And then I go, click. See, she laughs every time. I do it every single time. I go, you work on commissions, don't you? Okay, listen, I'm going to waste 30 minutes of your time right now. We're going to speak because I have the time to do it. I'm going to hear everything. And at the end, I'm not going to buy a single stinking thing. And I'm probably going to ask you a bunch of uncomfortable questions about your family. What do you want to do next? And then, oh, crap. Click, right? Don't be a pushy salesman is all I'm saying. Present your product. If they're of interest, they'll ask questions. I promise you, if they're interested in, they'll ask questions. If they have insurance, they'll tell you, I have this one or I have that. They will. If they don't have insurance, they might show interest. Because let's face it, the 2 top reasons people don't get insurance is because they either don't believe they can afford it or they don't believe they have the time and they just spent 20 minutes learning. So they just gave you the time and they just learned about the cost effectiveness of term insurance. So now they might believe that they can afford it. At the end, just present. Just present. I'm going to use that script. Gerzel just said that. Okay, so, and then don't get me wrong. If you do open up a case, you still want to take the time to present what the family member got. I present the company. I present the services the product does. I give them a list of the living benefits. That's important. And I give them the 800 numbers to call. That's the information I give during that meeting while opening up a case. And boom, now I'm in another case. Now, fast forward, policy gets approved. You're going to get ready to do your delivery, right? If you're an unexperienced agent, all you're trying to do is get a delivery receipt so you can get your commission and get out the door, right? Shame on you for that. That's not that. Yes, it's important to get the delivery receipts. Yes, it's important to get it enforced. Yes, you want to do it urgently because you don't want the client to get buyer's remorse. I get that. Yes, you want to get paid, but that's not the only thing you do. When you get a policy approved, this is what you do. Call the underwriter. Mr. Underwriter, how are you, John? Listen, this is Tony. Number one, I want to thank you for getting Billy Bob's policy approved. I really appreciate that. Number two, I want to ask you a question. How much additional insurance can my client obtain without having to do any more underwriting whatsoever? Zero. Not a single question will be asked, but the client can get more coverage. Can you let me know what that number is? I want you to understand something. When underwriters approve clients, they approve them based on certain brackets of insurance. Like they do the same underwriting for 0 to 250. They do the same underwriting from 250 to 500. They do the same type of underwriting from 500 to $1 million. They do the same type. So if the client applied for 600,000, they did the entire underwriting for up to $1 million. Sometimes that's the way it happens. So by asking Mr. Client, how much additional coverage can the client get without any more underwriting? You got to be very clear and transparent about that. With no further underwriting, not a single question will be asked. How much more additional coverage can this client get if they chose to take it? And the underwriter will tell you, well, you applied for 350, but the client could get 500,000 with no questions asked. Okay, cool. Thank you. That's all you want to know. And then what you're going to do on the delivery meeting is you're going to bring with you your $350,000. You're going to bring it with you, but you're going to bring a second policy for 150,000 because 350 plus 150 is the 500, right? You don't merge it together. You can still keep it as separate policies. And that 150 of additional coverage, look at Rob. Rob just went, I get it, right? You don't merge it because if the client denies it, you still sell them the initial policy, but if they accept it, you just sold the second policy. But that extra 150, you make it a cost-effective product. Make it a 10-year term, a 15-year term. I'm not a big fan of selling 10, 15-year terms if it's the primary. Like the primary will still be a 30-year term or a GUL or an IUL. I'm big on that. But the second one, that extra insurance, I want it to be so cost-effective that like for an extra $10, why not? You know what I'm saying? You ever buy a cell phone and you're looking over the plans and the guy's like, well, you can get this for an extra $7 and you're like, yeah, okay, go ahead at it. It's like that. So you're bringing that extra insurance, but you make it a very cost-effective one. 10-year term, an annual renewable term, a 15-year term, something small. Mr. Klein, I just want you to know that your health is in such good shape. I don't care if they got approved standard. Mr. Klein, I want you to know your health is your health is in such good shape that the underwriter was willing to approve you for an additional 150, and it's only an extra $10 more per month. I don't know if you want it or not, but you don't got to do a single thing. Just tell them you want it. And for an extra $10 more, you'll go from 350 to 500,000. But you let me know what you want to do. I do that on a delivery meeting. And you'll be amazed. Boom. Oh yeah, sure, no problem. Just add it in there. Okay, cool. You'll see the application in your inbox tomorrow. Right? It's all the same info you already took. Why not? What you don't do is you don't modify the first policy and increase it to 500. You still sell 2 policies. Because if 3-4 months down the line, the client says, things changed, you can at least still cancel one, but keep the first. Okay? But that's one thing that I do in a delivery meeting. I'm big about those. Extra upsells. If you sold husband and wife policies and you didn't sell the kid policies, you know what I'm bringing with me? Some simple $25 to $35 a month IULs for kids. I'm bringing it with me on the delivery meeting. I'm bringing it with me. If their mom and their dad live with them, like in the Latino household is pretty notorious, where, mom and dad have their mom and dad living there too, somewhere in an extra room or a garage that was converted over, right? Bring with you a quick little final expense policy. Hey, listen, I don't know if this is of interest to you or not, but I noticed, that your mom is here, the kid's grandmother is here. In our conversation, you mentioned she was 67. I brought with me a simple $10,000 policy. It's a final expense, covers funeral costs. I don't know if that's something you guys are prepared for. Let me tell you something. I don't know. I mean, again, I'm speaking from my experiences, okay? It's probably very similar with other cultures as well, too. In the Latino community, if you go into a household and you meet with mom and dad, and you see that grandma or grandpa live in that same roof, I promise you, the person that's writing the check for that funeral is the mom and dad under that roof. I promise you it's them. I promise you it's them. My grandmother never lived under my uncle's roof. My grandmother lived under my mom's roof. And I knew when my grandmother passes, my uncle's not going to be there, but my mom will. You know what my mom did? My mom got a final expense policy on her quick. So bring that with you. If you see that in the household, bring it with you. There's no harm. You're at a delivery meeting. It's another opportunity to present more products. And again, don't be a pushy salesman. Just present. Let them tell you no and accept it gracefully. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. No sometimes just means not now. They'll get it later. They'll get it later. If you did right by them the first time, you didn't make them feel uncomfortable the first time, they'll get it later. I promise. I promise. Now, here's another thing that I do, and then we'll take a break. Right? So look at my steps, right? While in underwriting, I met with fiduciaries, and I'm trying to plant a nest in that family tree and start working inside of other families. When it got approved, I tried to upsell to get additional coverage if possible to see what's available. In the delivery meeting, I present the additional products to try to cross-sell. I present kid policies. I present everything that I'm presenting in the delivery is a little bit more. Here's an extra $20, here's an extra $30, here's an extra this. You'd be amazed how that stuff kind of stacks up, right? And you're creating a sticky client. A sticky client is someone that has more than one thing with you. When they got 3, 4, 5 things with you, it's very hard for them to untether themselves from you. The reason banks want you to have 2, 3 checking accounts, 4 or 5 debit cards, auto draft, auto bill pay. The reason they want you to have all that stuff is because that one Friday night that you go out and you have that extra drink that causes your bank account to overdraft and you get pissed because you paid a $35 fee for a $7 drink and you want to quit the relationship with that bank because they're not willing to refund you the money, you won't quit the relationship because you have so much of your finances tethered to that relationship that you're just like, forget it, bro. I'm just going to stay here. That's called a sticky client. So much stuff you've taken care of that they don't want it, they can't. It's too much work to untether themselves from you, right? I'm doing that in the deliveries. I'm cross-selling, trying to, here's the last thing that I'm doing. The last thing that I'm doing. Those who do this, you have 100% higher likelihood of learning how to work inside of a warm market and never having to buy leads again if you do this the right way. Before you go to the meeting, research that person on social media. Whoever it is you're meeting with to deliver the policy, research them on social media. If they work a profession that gives you access to a website, that gives you a list of people that they might work with, research that as well. Take a white sheet of paper and type up all the names of the people that you know they know. When I check for people on social media, I want you to know I'm looking into 2 things. If I go to Facebook, I want to see if they've affiliated who their family members are. On Facebook, you can declare, this is my aunt, this is my cousin, this is my brother, this is my this, this is my that, right? I want that. Second thing I want to know who's commenting on their profile pictures. Because typically the people who are commenting on their profile pictures are people that they know, relatives. Unless it's a very attractive woman, and then she'll have 50 messages of stalkers. There, unfortunately, is the truth. I'm sorry, ladies. Men are dogs. But it's just the way it is, right? But I want that list. I want to look into maybe their last 3 or 4 posts, and I want to see who's commenting. If you go to my Facebook, I guarantee you see my family members. You see who comments on my profile pictures. You see who comments on my posts. And I guarantee you'll run into 4 or 5 people that know me pretty well. I'm going to put a list together of people that I know that person. And I'm going to come to that meeting. I'm going to come to my delivery with that list. And all of this is very simple. White sheet of paper, print out their names, but like a Word doc. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Pay very close attention to this script, guys, because this is my referral script. This is how I get referrals. This is how I start working in warm markets. This is how 5 years of me being at Northwestern Mutual, a captive operation, a non-recruiting operation, a non-lead generating operation at a 50% contract. Look at the picture I just painted you. I don't think there's a single person right now that would take that contract. Captive, no recruiting, no lead generation, 50% contract. How many of you guys would take that right now? Nobody would. I did that for 5 years. I made $150,000 on average every single year doing it, because the only way I fed myself was by mastering my products and mastering my referrals. Referrals. My number was simple: 25 a week, 25 referrals a week, 25 referrals a week, 25 referrals a week, no matter what. 25 referrals a week, 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day. That was my obsession. That's business planning. So for those of you that are interested in going to December 12th business planning, I'm going to break down the numbers and tell you what kind of daily activity you need to do in order to hit your goal. From phone calls to asking for referrals to appointments kept to ratios, percentages, and we're going to break it down. Anyways, back to it. Here's the script. Pay close attention. Let's say I'm meeting with, the guy's name is John. John, let me ask you a question. When you first called me, when we first spoke, what were your thoughts? That's my first question. When we first spoke, what were your thoughts? You know what they're going to tell you? They're going to say, yeah, you know, I thought it was just a sales pitch. I didn't know what it was about, blah, 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 blah. That's what they're going to say. And you laugh, you chuckle it off, right? And then next question you ask them, Mr. Klein, now that you've met me, now that you've seen the services that I offer, what are your current thoughts of me? You know what they're going to say? No, I'm glad. I was very weary in the beginning, but I'm super glad that we had a chance to meet. I'm super happy that we had this conversation. I feel a lot more educated in this industry. I feel a lot more comfortable with my finances. They're gonna take 2 minutes to just, you know, they're gonna puff you up, right? Third thing you say, Mr. Klein, I want you to know something. When Steve gave me your name and he told me to call you, he had a lot of good things to say about you, but he also had no assumption whatsoever that you were in the market for the services that I offered. I just want you to know that. I'm gonna call Steve. I'm gonna give him thanks for introducing us together, because I'm happy that I was able to help you and your family. Pause. What did I just do there? I just showed him the guy who gave me your number had no assumption you were in the market for my services. You see how I'm teeing it up. I'm getting ready for the kill. I'm prepping him. I'm massaging him before I go in for the kill. So I repeat, first question, Mr. Client, John, when I first called you, what were your thoughts? What did you think when you first heard me on the phone? What did you think was going to happen? You know, I didn't know. I thought it was another sales pitch. You know, I get called all the time, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now, after we've met and now after you've seen the services that I bring to the table, what are your current thoughts of me now? Oh no, I think it's amazing. I think you did a great job. I think I'm so glad. I'm blah, 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 right? Mr. Klein, I want you to know that when Steve gave me your number, he spoke very highly of you, but he had zero assumption that you were in the market for my services. Zero, no assumption. I'm going to call him and let him know that I'm really glad that he introduced us and I was able to help someone in the community out. John, I want to ask you a question. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. I'd like to ask you the same question that I asked Steve. Who do you know? Who do you know? Without assuming that they're in the market for my services, the way Steve didn't assume it of you, who do you know that could benefit from a conversation that we just had, that could benefit from some of these conversations? And let me tell you, before you give me any names, I want to tell you the type of people I like to talk to. I like to talk to people that are between 35 to 50 years of age, that make anywhere from $45,000 or higher, that are either married and or have kids. Who do you know that fits into that category that I could introduce myself to without assuming they're in the market for my services the way Steve didn't assume that of you? And then you know what you do? Take your pen out, put it on the pad, and shut up and wait. Literally.
Can you repeat that last little part? You said, like to ask you the same thing that I asked Paul or so-and-so. Who do you know that fits what criteria?
Yeah, and so I'll tell him, I go, I want to ask you a question. You know, for the next 5 minutes, I'd like to talk to you about who do you know that could benefit from a conversation like this? But before you tell me anybody, let me tell you the type of people I like to be in front of. I like to be in front of people that are between 35 years of age to 50, people that are generating over $45,000 a year in income, people that are either married and or have children. Who do you know that fits that category without assuming they're in the market for my services the same way Steve didn't assume that of you? Take your pen out, take a pad out, boom. There's a psychology behind that. If they see you got your pen and pad out, it's an expectation. If they acknowledge that they valued the meeting and they acknowledge that Steve didn't assume anything, then what stops them from doing the same thing Steve did? Because that overcomes the objection right away. Oh, I don't know if they're in the market. Well, neither did Steve, and you just told me you found value. You get what I'm saying? Well, I got to talk to them first. Let me ask you a question, because that's another objection you might get. I got to talk to them first. John, let me ask you a question. When I called you, were you expecting my call? Did Steve tell you I was going to call? He didn't. He just gave me your number. Was I polite? Was I pushy? No, you were very polite. You weren't pushing. John, I promise you, anybody that you introduce me to, they're not going to ever feel that pushy salesman. I'm going to introduce what I offer. I'm going to give them a chance to tell me no. And if they tell me no, it's okay. But I would hate for you to assume that they're in the market or not in the market, and then you get it wrong and something happened. So who do you know? You see how I overcame a lot of the objections a lot of people give you right away by doing it the way that I did? When I called you, what'd you expect? I had no idea you were calling. That's because John didn't tell you I was calling. But now that you met me, what do you think? Oh, I think it was great. Right? Listen, Steve had no assumption you were in the market for my services. I'm so glad that he introduced me blindly to you. He just knows the caliber of people I like to be in front of. Right? Mr. Klein, I want to ask you for the next 5 minutes, who do you know that could benefit from this type of a conversation without assuming they're in the market for my services? And before you give me one name, let me tell you the type of people I like to be in front of. Because now what I'm doing is I'm letting his mind focus in on the type of people I like. I want qualified people. Yes, I have no problem sitting with the 18, 19, 20-year-old that wants to put some insurances in place. But let's be honest. Let's be honest. The sweet spot is 35 to 50 for insurance because they're mature. They're probably getting to the prime of their career in that bracket. They already have things that they can risk losing. They're married, they have kids. I want that person. It's hard to sell life insurance to someone who has nothing to lose. You got to try to figure out how living benefits could be beneficial to them, which it is. And in my opinion, everybody should have insurance. But it's a lot easier to get in front of someone that's making money, that has kids and a spouse, that's at an age in their life where they're more responsible with their decisions. They're not at the 22, 23, I want to go to keg crawl. Right? I don't want to spend $50 a month on insurance. I use that money to go to the clubs. No, I don't want you right now. I got no time for you. I want to work with this type of people. It lets me identify. Then I shut up, I put my pen on the pad, and I wait for them to give me names and numbers. Now you might be asking, well, Tony, what the heck was all that work you did before about going to social media, putting that list together and da. I'll get to it. Once they've given me the names, I just want names in the beginning. Don't stop to qualify. Don't be like, oh, what's this person's number? What do they do? No. Just have them give you names. Well, you can call John Smith, you can call Peter, you can call this, you can just shut up and get names and names and names and names. Once the person says to you, I don't have anybody else. If they only give you 2 or 3 names, you know what else I say? Who else? That's all I say. Who else do you know? Here's what I don't say. Do you know anyone else? Because what are they going to tell you? No, done. I don't say it that way. Here's how I do say it. Who else do you know? Pen down, look down. Pen down, look down. Who else do you know? And when they finally tell me I don't know anyone else, that's when I stop saying, who else do you know? Then when they give me all those names, I go back and I qualify them. What's this person's number? What's this person's number? What's this person's number? And let me ask you a question. Why did you think of this person? What characteristic made you think that this person fits my profile I'm looking for? And they'll tell you a little bit about each person, and you can use that in your script when you call them, but then you got a list. Now, if they give you a list of 7 to 10 names, you're not going to take out the list that I just prepped, that I just told you to generate using social media. You're not going to take that out. Don't be greedy. But if they only give you 2 or 3 names, this is how I take this list out. Pay attention, because there's a psychology to this. Okay, I don't care if you're a 1-person operation, you're working from your garage with a dinner table and a typewriter because you can't afford a computer. Okay, this is the script you're going to use. And look at the picture I just gave you. Dinner table, garage. That's how I started, by the way. Okay, it wasn't a keyboard, but I did. My first computer, just so you know, was with a $150 gift card. I went to a pawn shop and bought a used computer to get into this industry. So trust me, I know what it is to start from nothing and work your way up. Okay, I know what that is. I promise, I know what it is. This is the script you use. Mr. Client, my research and development team, ooh, fancy, right? My research and development team, AKA you at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? My research and development team, they love to research the people that I meet with. It's their job, it's what they do. And the reason they do that is because they want to know what markets it is that I'm working in. I'm scheduled, look what I just said, I'm scheduled next week to contact a list of individuals and introduce my services. And this list of people, I have a feeling are people that you do know, because this list was generated from my research and development team. And one of the things that they look at is people's social media profiles. I just want to know if you could do me a favor and help me avoid the bad eggs. Get ready. That's the script. I just want you to do me a favor and help me avoid the bad eggs, the people that are just, you know, they're assholes, right? I take the list out. I turn it to them and I show them, who on this list should I not call? Notice what I did. I didn't ask who should I call. I said, who on this list should I not call? You know why? Because I'm already scheduled next week to call them. I'm not asking for your permission. I'm already scheduled to call them. Now, as of right now, it's a cold call, right? Indirectly, right? That's what we're thinking. It's a cold call. That's what he's thinking. It's a cold call. I'm just asking for the favor. Who should I avoid? You know what they're going to do? They're going to look at the list and they're going to go, wait, I know these people. And I'm going to say, more than likely, that's what my research and development team does. They research everybody up and down, websites, social media platforms, everything. And this is the market that I'm currently working in. I just want to know, who should I avoid? They're going to go, well, don't call this person. Don't call this person. They might even give you some gossip about them, right? It's kind of funny sometimes the stuff they say. But you know what someone does when they scratch off people? The ones that they didn't scratch off, they gave you indirect permission to call. Because then once they're done with scratching off the people, I'll then go, well, listen, I see here you didn't scratch off this person, and this person. Who are they? Oh, that's my sister. Oh, that's my brother. Oh, that's my coworker. Oh, that's my this. And oh, that's my that. Oh, okay. Roughly how old are they? They're this old, and they're this old, and they're this old, and they're this old. And what do they do for a living? Oh, this one does this, and this one does this, and this one. I'm qualifying them. The people they didn't scratch off, I'm qualifying. And then you know what I'm going to say? Can you do me a solid? What's a good direct number to reach them? Because I'm not sure if my team has their office line or their direct line, and I would love to not have to call 3, 4, 5 times. What's a direct number to call them at? Boom, 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 right? I take that piece of paper, I put it in my notebook. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Bum, 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 right? You'll be hearing from my organization and, you know, on a yearly basis to have some annual reviews. You have my direct number. Call me if you need anything. Okay. Thank you so much. Right before I leave, I'm literally out the door. I turn back around and I say, Mr. Klein, can I ask you for one favor? Do you mind if when I call these people, I let them know that you think highly of them? I mean, you didn't scratch them off the list, so I'm assuming they're good quality people. Do you mind? And they go, sure, no problem. Vroom, get out the door. Get out the door. The moment they say, yeah. Okay, cool, bye. Vroom, out the door. What did you just do? You just turned a cold list into a hot list. And you just turned it into a referral list. And you just got a compliment from each one of them because they gave you permission to use their name. So now when I call that list, let's say on that list, there's a guy there by the name of Gerzo on the list. And it was John that I just met with and delivered the policy, right? Here's my call. Hi, is this Gerzo? Yes, it is. Gerzo, thanks for taking my call. My name is Tony Martinez. I'm actually calling in reference to John. Did John tell you that I was going to give you a call, or is this completely out of the blue? No, John didn't say anything, but now he's curious. He wants to know. Well, listen, let me take a step back and share with you why I'm calling. So you're not trying to figure out who this crazy guy is on the other line, okay? Great, cool. I was having a meeting last week with John, which is true, right? We're having a business conversation, which is true, right? And in our conversation, he mentioned your name. He had some really good things to tell me about you, right? And he thought it'd be valuable if I called you and introduced some of the services that I do. Gerzo's gonna say, well, what do you do? I'm glad you asked. Well, Gerzo, I work in the area of insurance and investments. I specialize in income tax reduction strategies, business planning, and insurance management. Now, Gerzo, I want you to know something. John has no assumption whatsoever that you're in the market for my services. He just knows the caliber of people I like to work with and thought it'd be beneficial if you and I had a chance to chat. You're in Naples, Florida, aren't you? I am. I'm actually scheduled to be out there next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Which of those 2 days would be good for you and I to connect? Well, Tuesday works. Awesome. Do mornings or afternoons work for you? Afternoon works. Great. How does 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock sound? 7 o'clock. Perfect. What's your home address? Boom, 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 boom. You see how my script ties into what I just did? You see how I didn't ask if we could meet. I took the assumption that we could, and the choices I gave him was not can we meet, it's when, Tuesday or Wednesday. You see how I took John off the hook. John's under no assumption you're in the market for my services. He just knows the caliber of people I like to work with and thought you and I should have a conversation. I compliment, he knows the caliber of people I like to work with. It's like, you know, speaking highly of Gerzo. I don't know Gerzo. I have no idea who Gerzo is. I was just referred to him through a list that I generated myself, through a process of elimination where I reverse engineered it. You want to know why Northwestern Mutual is #1 year after year after year after year after year in their training program promoting insurance agents? Because of what I just showed you right now. I'm not even going to take full credit. This is the kind of training that I got at a 50% contract with 0 leads and 0 recruiting. This is how I get 25 referrals on a weekly basis. This is how I stay in a warm market. Contingent beneficiaries, upselling on deliveries, and referral language. 1, 2, 3. That made my career right there. I was 25 years old in a predominantly Caucasian community with 1 to 2 years experience in this industry, hadn't made 6 figures, working in a market of affluent Caucasian Americans that have the family advisor that's been with the family for 25, 30 years. Talk about me trying to fight my way into this industry. But those 3 little things right there helped this Latino, short, bald-headed, 23-year-old that had everything going against him make $150,000 a year to support his family. With 0 recruiting, 0 referrals, 2 products, whole life, term insurance, 0 living benefits, captive contract. I was writing 140 to 170 applications a year using that, just using that. So here's what I'm going to do. It's 12:15 Eastern time, my time. Let's take a 15-minute break. Okay. If this script that I just gave you guys, you're saying to me, damn, Tony, that was gold. I didn't capture it all. I recorded this. Don't worry. It's okay. I'm going to upload it. You guys can go through it. I gave you my phone script for warm leads. I gave you my referral language. I gave you that. Okay. That's the gold that I learned in this business. Let's take a 15-minute break. Let's all get back at 12:30 Eastern time. So adjust your clocks according to your time zones. When we get back, I'm going to be talking about the way that I run a book of business, or the way I treat my existing clientele so I can properly manage them. Okay. And then we're going to close it off with actually doing a new associate orientation, something that we're going to start unfolding every single Monday night when I do general training. Our very own Yasmin Dominguez is going to be running a new associate training for all brand new agents to learn about the intro to insurance. I'm going to close it off with that, and then we'll enjoy the rest of the day. Everybody's good? All I want in your 15 minutes is your 2 biggest takeaways on the Voxer. There's a lot of people that are missing today that I wish were on here. I want them to hear what your 2 biggest takeaways were. I'll see you back sharply at 12:30 Eastern time. Don't get off the Zoom. I'm going to keep it on. All right, perfect. All right, we're back. I used to run a meeting called a client builder. I was required the first year. I had to do it. It was 7:30 in the morning every Monday. I had to be in the conference room, notepad out. I had to have my report sent in the night before. I had to have my report sent in the night before. And if I was a minute late, I had to pay $100, and I couldn't participate that week in the client builder. I still had to pay, but I couldn't participate because I was a minute late. That's the way it was. And I had to have in my client builder, I had to have at least 25 points in order for them to even look at my numbers. And it's kind of confusing right now, but I'll explain to you what it is. Client builder is an analytical meeting where you break down your business. And the type of stuff I'm talking about, it's on an Excel spreadsheet, right? Google Sheet nowadays. But you have to upload your numbers week by week, week by week, week by week. And every week you add a new row, a new column. Every week you add a new column, new column, new column, new column, new column. And over time, your business basically turns into a formula. And you can look at that formula and determine where your areas of improvement are, where your areas of strength are. And you can really build your business plan off of that. Let me tell you the stuff that you track. You track how many phone calls you made, how many people answered the call, how many people accepted a meeting. You track how many meetings you scheduled, how many meetings you kept, and what was the results of each of those meetings. You track how many of them were recruiting meetings, how many of them were initial fact-finding meetings, how many of them were closing meetings. You track how many closing meetings converted into applications. You track how many times you met with someone, did you ask for referrals? You track how many applications did you take compared to how much annual premium did you collect? You track how much commissions you generated from the business that was in under. I mean, you track everything, because everything tells a story. And so I learned my first year in business that I made, I'm trying to remember the exact number. I made $7.43 for every phone call that I made. That's how much, that's how analytical that business is, because at the end of the year, you can look at your income, you can look at how many calls you made, you can figure out this is how much each call is worth to you. And so I started figuring out, okay, I can reverse engineer this. And if I want to make 100K, this is what I got to do. I got to make this many calls, or I got to have this many meetings, and I got to have this much this, and I got to have that much that. And your numbers will improve because your skill set will improve. So you'll like, I went from $7.43 per call. I think by the time I was 3 years in, I was making $45 per call. It was something like that. Like, I dramatically increased my return on my work effort, right? But I will tell you, the number that I obsessed with this on a weekly basis, because for whatever reason, when I focused on this number, I was making really good income. And that worked for me this way. It doesn't work the same way for everybody. For other people, there's a different number that they focus on. I knew people that focused on closing meetings. How many closing meetings they had on a weekly basis is a number they obsessed over. And they knew what activity they needed to do to get that. My number for obsession was how many referrals I received on a daily basis and how many times I asked for referrals. That was my obsession, right? I wanted to make sure that I got at least 5 referrals every single day. And I wanted to make sure that I asked for referrals at least 3 times a day. I had to do it that way. That was my obsession. Because my weakness that I had in the beginning in this business is that I wouldn't ask for referrals. I'd have this, 1 hour long meeting, and I felt like I was taking up too much of their time, and I would not ask for referrals on the back end. I just wouldn't, or I'd forget. And so my mentor, a gentleman by the name of Von Hoben, this is back in the paper era where my fact finders were paper. It was a booklet. He came up with a great idea. These labels right here that you could put into a printer, right? And they're little squares, and you can't see it on the little squares, they peel off and they stick, right? It's a little label. I took one of those. And holy crap, wow, this is old. Anyways, I took one of those and I typed on it, and it said on the little label, it said, ask me what this label's about before we leave our meeting today. That's what it said. And so, because that was back in the day when it was all belly to belly, face-to-face meetings, I would put that label reverse to my fact finder. So if this was my fact finder and the client's across from me, I'm writing this way, right? But the beginning with the top page had that little label over here on the corner facing them, so they could read it to me. And they would say to me, "What's that label about?" And I would say, "Listen, ask me what that label is at the end of our meeting. Don't forget." And what it was a trigger to remind me to ask for referrals, because I would have 15 meetings a week. And I'd ask for referrals like 3 times. And I'm like, they would rip on me. My mentors, my coaches, they would be like, what are you doing? You want to be broke? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, you had 15 meetings and you asked for referrals 3 times. You know how much money you're leaving on the table by not asking for referrals? And so I obsessed over that. I knew if I got 5 referrals every single day, and if I asked at least 3 times for referrals, and at the end of the week, I'd have 25 to 30 referrals. And at the end of the week, I'd have, 15 to 18 asked for referrals checked off on my list. I was making really good income that month, right? Now, what was the point system, right? Because I'd have to do this report, and every single activity you do generates a certain amount of points, and you're acquiring points throughout the week. And the way that they operated was if you had 25 points or higher, they would look at your business and they would break down your client builder. And if you didn't, you would sit in and take notes and learn from other people's. So it was a point system, right? This industry confuses you to think that the only way you're succeeding, the only measurement of success is if you're getting a physical application from a client. And that's not true. There's so much stuff that has to happen up front in order to get to the application. And you can't discredit yourself for that, because let's be real, we don't get an application every single day. In a perfect world, we're turning in business every day, every day, every day, every day. I turn in business. I turn in on an average month, right? When I'm not building systems and working my role as the CEO of the company, but as a field agent, I turn in 15 applications a month, right? That's good volume, right? But let's be real, there's a lot more than 15 days in a month, right? So the point system was a way to help you track, are you doing the activity on a daily basis that you should be doing? Because you can get confused. So what's a point, right? Every 2 referrals is 1 point. Every 2 referrals is 1 point. Every physical meeting you have, whether it's a fact-finding meeting, a presentation of the products, a taking applications meeting, every physical meeting you have is 1 point as well. 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, right? Every time you generate a top 25 list from a new recruit, it's a point, right? And so I wanted to make sure I ended the week with 25 points, 25 points, 25 points, 25 points, no matter what. Because if I didn't have 25 points, guess what? They weren't going to look at my numbers. They weren't going to, review what I was doing. Now, notice I mentioned every recruit that brings in a top 25 list is a point. That's an adjustment. That's a modification I've made in my business today. That wasn't there when I was working in the industry because there was no recruiting. That didn't exist. So that point didn't even exist. It was every 2 referrals is a point. Every meeting you have is a point. Every 2 referrals and every 50 calls, every 50 dials that you made was also 1 point. So it meant that every single day I could collect my 5 points, because if all my appointments canceled, if every single appointment canceled, I could still try to get referrals and I could still make 50 calls, 100 calls in a day and get my points. I can get my 5 points without having one single client meeting. And if all my meetings kept, I can still collect my 5 points because I have meetings that I'm keeping, referrals that I'm asking for. And so I had to get 5 points every day by any of those measurements. Every day by any of those measurements. And that really, really helped. So, I want to run a client builders type meeting on a weekly basis with you guys, but it would require a group of you guys, I would say minimum three that can commit. No matter what can commit. I mean, no matter what. Guys, they were ruthless with me when it came to that meeting. If I was late, I was paying $100. If I didn't come, I was paying $200. If I was late, I was paying 100. If I didn't come, I was paying 200. I had to have my numbers in the night before. I would love to have that kind of a meeting with you guys where we break down your business. It's kind of funny because when you start doing week after week, when you get 6, 7, 8 weeks in, you start to see your patterns. You could read that chart left to right, up to down. You can read it and you can be like, okay, look, this is what's about to happen in your business. You're about to have a massive vertical, you're about to have a massive drop, or you need to improve here, you need to improve here, because you can coach people in weaknesses. You can look at somebody's numbers and go, man, you made 50 calls, 30 people answered, but you only scheduled 2 meetings. We need to work on your scripts. Something's wrong with your script if 30 people are answering, you're only scheduling 2. But then the next agent makes the same amount of calls, but instead of 30 people answering, only 5 people answered. And he schedules 4. So he's good when people answer, but we need to work on why people aren't answering. We need to work on what market are you in? Do we need to change your market? Do we need to change the time that you're calling? There's so many areas of the business you can look at. You can look at someone that says, man, I kept 10 appointments, but I didn't open up any cases. Wait a minute, what's going on? There's something wrong with your fact-finding ability. If you're keeping 10 appointments, but you're only, opening up 1-2 cases, that's off. You can look at somebody else that says, man, I had, what do you call it? I had 25 appointments on the books, but I only kept 2 of them. Well, wait a minute, something's happening. How come you're getting so many reschedules? There's a leak there. Are you solidifying the meeting when you schedule it? Are you scheduling the meeting at their house versus a third-party location where they could skip out on you? There's so many things I can coach you on to help you improve your business and get you to that next level. But it doesn't happen on just by coming to one client builder. It doesn't happen that way. It would require at least 3. And you got to give me your solid commitment. No matter what, we're going to have that meeting every week. You're going to have your numbers in every week. Even if there's a week where you're like, damn, I didn't do a damn thing. I got to post what I call donuts, zeros across the board. I didn't do shit. Excuse my French, right? You got to post it and you got to be there. I would love to have that type of a meeting. The few times that I have, I've always gotten 1 or 2 people to say yes, and then they fall off the grid and they don't do it any longer. Right? And here's the crazy part. And I hate to say this, but it's the truth. You fall off the grid, your bank account falls off the grid too. You fall off the grid and you stop posting your numbers, your bank account falls off the grid as well too. This business is easy, and this business is you can monetize it. And for the technical people, you would love a client builder. For my action, go speed ahead forward, you would love client builder because it lets you go forward with the things that someone like myself could find as a leak, so you could focus on your leak. Someone who's technical could look at it and figure out the mathematical equations for their success. I mean, you could figure it out to the dollar, to the phone call, to the meeting, how much money you're worth per activity you do, but you got to commit. You got to commit. This isn't about me trying to collect a bunch of $100 fees and $200 no-show fees. Trust me, my time is a hell of a lot more valuable than that. This is about getting you to make $250,000. And if you're not going to treat it like a business, then you're never going to make $250,000. You might stumble upon one big case. But if you really want to make $250,000, if you really want to do it and you want to treat this business like a business, you have to have business meetings. And business meetings means analyzing your business. Fortune 500 companies have reports after reports after the reports that they look at on a weekly, on a monthly basis to track the volume of their business and the efficiency, effectiveness of their business. Business plan off of those things. You want to run a business, but you don't want to have business meetings. You want to run a business, but you don't want to analyze your numbers. You're shooting yourself in the foot. So I leave you guys with that before I move into the next topic of training, because I want you to understand, when you decide to be serious about business and you decide to analyze your business on a weekly basis, so you can course correct yourself every single week to improve. That is the only time you're going to find yourself anywhere near an opportunity to make $250,000 a year. Anywhere near it. That's the only time you will. That's the only time you will. But if you think you're going to casually buy leads here and there, casually recruit people here and there, casually make a phone call here and there, and you think you're going to do it, it's a 100% guarantee you will not hit a 6-figure income. That number is not done accidentally. That number is done intentionally. 10 grand in a month, accidental. 10 grand every single month, 6 months in a row, intentional. 10 grand a month, 12 months in a row, 20 grand a month, it's intentional. Once in a while, accidental. Every month, intentional. But you got to start treating your business like a business. So let's go right into training here, guys. And if you guys don't mind, I shifted the calendar a little bit. I realized I didn't really even have time to do a lunch break, but here's what I would like to do. I'd like to be finished in the next hour and 10 minutes. I'd like to be finished in the next hour and 10 minutes so you can go grab your lunch and enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully re-review this video and practice, drill, rehearse like crazy. Those scripts that I gave you, it rolls off my tongue easily, but you know how many times I've said them? I mean, I can say them in my sleep, but you know, what's crazy is before I got to that level, I would practice, drill, and rehearse. And my family hated me how much I practiced and role played with them. They hated me for it, but I was willing to do it because just like Kobe Bryant wouldn't leave, just like Michael Jordan wouldn't leave the court until he did 100 free throws every single practice, right? And it wasn't because he had to do 100 free throws every single game, but he just had to master the ability to do that blindly to become the best at the best at the best and the GOAT that he is. It's the same concept in this business. If you're not practicing your craft, if you're winging it, if you're casual, you ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna make it. And mastering your craft doesn't mean coming to closers college and coming to general training. Mastering your craft means come to closers college, come to general training, and then take what you learn and go apply it for another 10 more hours by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Go apply it another 10 hours by yourself, right? So here's what I'm gonna talk about next before I got another hour and 10 minutes. I'm not gonna talk about premium financing today. Here's what I will do. Here's what I will do. I'm gonna take a picture right now of those people that are on. I'm looking at the list. Boom. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to host a private training session solely on premium financing. The people that are invited are on this list. However, every single person on this list needs to show me that you finished your new associate checklist. You need to show me that you finished your new associate checklist. How you find your new associate checklist is as follows. Let me share my screen here. Okay. I believe my website developer updated this already, but let me confirm. Orientation. Yes. Okay. So you log in, you go right here to orientation. See this orientation checklist button? Click it. And there it is. So I'm going to host a private training. The only people invited are the people that are on right now. If you were on this morning and you got knocked off, if you were on this morning and you're not on right now, and you're watching this video, damn you, you messed up. You should have been here the entire time, right? Anybody who's here and anybody who shows me that they finished this entire checklist, look how easy it is. Get on the Voxer team chat. If you're not licensed, finish pre-licensing and schedule your test. If you are licensed, finish contracting. Have your orientation part 1 done. Know how to get to the TKO schedule website so you know our weekly training. Have a financial needs analysis done by your upline. Make sure you become a client of your product. I want to see that you became a client of your product. And if you didn't become a client of your product, I want to know why. I want to know why you did it. Okay. Put together your first top 25 list or buy your first batch of leads. Have your orientation 2 done, which is where you learn how to run quotes and submit business. And look, this one you're all doing right now, which is attending closers college. I want to see all of this completed. I want to see that this was done by anybody that's going to attend that private training. In this private training, I'm going to break down premium financing. I'm going to break it down and I'm going to teach you how to find and how to sell IULs where the client puts in $25,000 a year and a bank puts $75,000 a year for a total of $100,000 every single year into an IUL. It's a wealth management technique that you guys would love. Takira says, how do I get orientation part 2? You schedule that with your upline and that would be this guy right here. I have a video of it, but I would rather do a live orientation with you guys. So you learn how to, how as a brand new agent, you can run quotes with the carriers and you can submit business. Fair enough? The way that I'm going to do it is simple. I'm going to send you the video. You're going to watch the video, but you got to schedule a meeting with me after you've seen the video so I can help answer any Q&A that the video didn't answer. Simple as that. But that meeting, I need all of that done. And your financial needs analysis is one of those clutch pieces. You need to be a product. You need to be an ambassador of your product. You need to have something in place. And again, if you don't, that's okay, but tell me why you don't. You got to give me a pretty sticking good reason for you not to have at least a freaking $10 a month insurance policy on yourself. Like, there's no way you can sell insurance and not have it. It's like trying to sell shoes and be barefooted. Like, what are you doing, right? Can we do a group orientation part 2? Christina asked. The answer is yes. I think that's a great idea. What I'm going to do is this. Let me do this now. I'm going to post right now a video that I would want everybody to see first. before, hang on one second, where is it? Here he is. I'm gonna post it right now on the chat. Here's the link. That's not right. What's going on here? Actually, I'm lying. I'm gonna post it on the Voxer. There's two, I believe there's two videos. Here's one. I just posted it on the Voxer. It's titled, where is this? New agent submission of business. So you know, as a new agent, where to go to run quotes and submit business. And part one. And where are the illustrations here? Where's the other video? Hang on one second, guys. Where is it? Let me find the video here real quick. Come on. One more minute, guys. System. Here we go. All right, I just posted one video. Here's the second one. The second one's only like 18 minutes long. Shows you how to run quotes using our back office system if you don't have any writing numbers. If you have no writing numbers, it shows you how to do that. I want you to watch those two videos and we'll schedule a group orientation, Christine. I think that's a good idea. Here's the date that I'm thinking for the group orientation, since we're talking about it now. Let's shoot for it's gonna have to be during the week. Let's give everybody at least 1 week to finish those videos. Let's do the group orientation on Tuesday, the 16th. Tuesday, the 16th. Let's shoot for 8 p.m. Eastern time. Group orientation part 2. Because in that training, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to run illustrations and submit applications with like 80% of the companies if you didn't have not one writing number, like a brand new agent, because a new agent using our back office system can submit business after 2 days. But if you don't know how to do it, then you can't do it. So that orientation will be important. So again, it'll be the 16th of November, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Zoom ID will be my cell phone number. Zoom ID will be my cell phone number, so there's no questions about it. Eastern time, 8 p.m., 7 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Mountain time. Any questions about that? Good. Okay, cool. Okay. And then once that's done, I'll schedule a day to do the private training on premium financing. Okay, but here's something else you need to know. I'm going to run the meeting at 8 p.m. You need to send me validation that all of this stuff on this checklist is done before that. You need to send me validation before then that all that stuff is done. Okay, if it's an F&A and you took an application, show me a screenshot of the initial page of the application or your actual policy. If you don't have a policy in place, give me a reason why you don't, right? Show me that you've got all this stuff done. If it's contracting, right? Make sure that Sandra validates that you're in what's called JIT status, that you've turned in all your contracting. If it's Voxer, you can tag me on Voxer. Like, I just need validation you finished everything on that new associate checklist before that meeting starts. I'm not going to hold everybody up, because you haven't showed me validation of all that stuff. Make sure you've shown it to me so that we begin right at 8 o'clock and get that going. Cool? Okay. Next, let's jump into it. Let's talk about how to run your business like a business. We got about an hour left. If I have enough time, I'll do the group orientation, the new agent. I'll do the new agent orientation that Yasmin is going to start running every single Monday. If I don't have time, I'll briefly talk about what it's gonna be and how it's gonna happen. But I got an hour. I want to max it out. A lot of people make this mistake in this industry. They think like realtors, right? You know what a realtor does? A realtor acquires a client, sells a client, makes a commission, and then you know what they go do? Anybody? What do they go do?
On to the
Go
next.
do it again.
Look for a new client.
Yeah, go find another client. They got to go find another client to live because there's no residual income that comes from that existing client that they already acquired. And the chances of that person that you just sold a house to buying another house within the next 6 months to a year is slim to none. So they're always hitting reset on their business. They always got to find new people. And some insurance agents do the same. They just want to go find new people, not realizing they're building this book of business that becomes very monetizable, very valuable if you do it the right way. Right? And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Let me tell you this, statistically, you're going to sell your clients 4 to 7 times in your lifetime, as long as you do right by them the first time. Statistically, you're going to sell your clients 4 to 7 times. 4 to 7 times if you do right by them the first time. Let me give you another statistic. Statistically, out of those 4 to 7 times that you sell your clients, your first sale will never be the biggest. It'll never be the biggest sale. These are numbers done by a research. It was a 20-year research in the insurance industry, ran by an individual named Al Granum. If you want to research who he is, he passed away already. Al Granum did a 20-year research in the insurance industry, top 10, 20 years worth of research to determine what are the patterns of success in this industry. And those are some of the numbers that he came up with. Statistically, you'll sell your clients 4 to 7 times as long as you do right by them the first. Statistically, your first sale will never be the biggest. Here's another one. You guys ever heard of that 10-3-1 ratio? 10-3-1, 10-3-1. A lot of people don't understand the full concept of 10-3-1. 10 is the amount of people you meet with. Right? I'm sorry, 10 is the amount of people you meet with. 3 is the amount of people that express interest. 1 is the person that takes action and becomes a client. However, it's not really 10-3-1, it's 130-10. That's the real number. 100 people you meet, 30 of them show interest, 10 of them become clients. You ready for the catch? Those 10 will become clients within the first 3 years. That means those 10 people, they won't become clients the first minute you meet them. They won't become clients the first time you meet them. They won't. Only about 30% of them will become clients the first time you meet them. The other 70% require what's called follow-up. A second meeting, a third meeting, a fourth meeting, a fifth meeting. And that second, third, fourth, and fifth could happen in the first year, the second year, or the third year. A lot of people make that mistake. If you don't have a good follow-up game, I want you to understand 10-3-1 is not a real number for you. It's more like 10-3.3. You see how much different that ratio becomes when it's 10-3.3? If you don't have a good follow-up game, you don't have a 10-3-1, which is a 130-10. You have a 133, 30, and then a 3. Only 3 out of those 10 people will become clients because you're trying to close them on the first year. The other 7, because you don't have a follow-up game, will never become clients because you don't follow up with them. So you need to have a good follow-up game. Okay. What does that mean? How, because the next question people ask is, well, how do you have a good follow-up game? Here's what it is. Whether you do it on paper or you do it with a CRM software that you subscribe to. I have a CRM software that I've been using for like 10 years now. It's called Zendesk. I pay like $40 a month for it. but you can use a bunch of different ones. There's Salesforce, there's a bunch of them out there. There really are. You just need something that'll trigger reminders to call people. It's got to trigger a reminder to call people, a follow-up system, okay? Every time I take a fact finder on a client, I'm going to upload their information into my CRM. I want their name, I want their phone number, I want their date of birth. I want a little story about that person in regards to my interaction. I want at least that. More is even better. If I can get addresses, emails, and all that, even better. But name, phone number, date of birth, and a little storyline of what my meeting with that person was like. Every single time I meet with someone and take a fact finder. Remember, you'll meet with 10, 3 will show interest. What about the other 7? Just because, and when I say show interest, meaning the person is interested in purchasing. Sometimes you take a full fact finder on someone and they're like, it's not for me right now. That's okay, but at least you captured their info. 10, 3, 1, 10, 3, 1, 10, 3, 1. Every time I meet with somebody and I take a fact finder, I want their name, I want their phone number, I want a story of what, at least, and I add them into my database. Now, their date of birth is what creates the triggers. It's what creates my follow-up. Okay, and I'll explain to you why here momentarily, why the date of birth does. Okay, if I captured someone's date of birth in a conversation, it's because we at least had a 5-minute intro on insurance. Maybe it was a full hour-long fact finder, maybe it was just a 10-minute conversation, but if they gave me their date of birth, it wasn't a casual conversation. Like imagine I call Takira up. Hey, how are you, Takira? Nice to meet you. Tell me about what's your date of birth. What the hell? No, if I got your date of birth, we had an insurance conversation and there was a little bit of interest. Even if it was just 5, but I got your date of birth. Okay. That's my follow-up clutch key. That's my piece, but I do it with everybody. That's 1. Number 2, I try to get everybody on my social media that I can. Social media is the new digital business card. Back in the day, it was give them the business card and hope that one day when they need your services, they can find your business card and call you, right? It's not like that nowadays. Nowadays, it's you meet somebody, connect with them on social media. I don't carry business cards. I have them. You know when's the first time? Look at this. Hold up. There's 1,000 business cards. 1,000 business cards of mine. There's 1,000 business cards of Sandra's, right? I've used it one time and it was at Symposium. I brought it with me and I gave it to some of the vendors because I knew I was going to be too busy to get them on my social media. But that's the only time I use it. I never use it in a client meeting. Never, ever use it in a client meeting. But you know what I do? I make sure every single person that I meet with, I get them into my social media. Because when they're in my social media, they will forever and ever and ever see, as long as obviously we remain friends, they'll see the statuses. They'll see what I'm talking about. They'll see me talking about insurance. They'll see me talking about capitalism, entrepreneurship. They'll see me talking about 401k, life insurance, IRAs, tax. They'll see it. And if I'm always in their face, at some point or another, they're going to hit me up and they're going to reach out to me. They're going to. And if I see some of their stuff, it'll trigger me to reach out to them every now and again. Think about it this way. Think about social media. Don't people love to post when they go through life-changing events on their social media? They love it. Sometimes they post more than they should, right? They got a divorce. Oh, Lord, get ready for what's going to come. But they just had a life-changing event. They just had a baby, life-changing event. They just got married, life-changing event. They just relocated. They just started a new job. All that's life-changing. If they're on my social media and I see those life-changing events, it gives me the trigger. Let me reach out to them. Let me see if anything's changed. They just started a new job. Did they have an old 401k? Are they rolling it over? They just had a baby. Do they need to review their finances? Do they need to talk about kid policies, savings policies for kids? Guys, if you're not talking to every brand new parent about a college savings plan, like they are in baby heaven at that point, especially if it's like their first or second. Once it's like the third or fourth, they're like, whatever. But first or second, oh no, they want everything for that child. Everything, the best of the best. The best of the best. I'm there for those life-changing events. Divorces, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Relocations. I'm there. There's so many opportunities with life-changing events. I want you on my social media. I want to know what you're doing just as much as I want you to know what I'm doing. Look, this week started health insurance. I posted, I don't know if you guys seen it. I posted on health insurance quite a few times on my social media. I've made 6 sales so far, just off that. 6. Just off that. Private, hey, listen, I want health. Just yesterday, is Rob on the call right now? Yeah, he is. Just yesterday, no, 2 days ago, I'm sorry. I get a guy sends me a message. Hey, bro, hit me up. Let's talk about insurance. Cool. I match it up with Rob, right? Because Rob's better at health than I am, guys. I'm not gonna lie. He's a beast at it. Rob, give this guy a call. Rob calls him. Rob schedules it. Rob, I believe, sold him a health policy, a dental policy. And then you know what Rob finds out? He's got $1 million term life insurance policy that he's had for 2.5 years with Transamerica, right? With living benefits. You know, Transamerica's living benefit is not a dollar for dollar reduction. Let me explain what I mean by that. $1 million of insurance, the guy gets cancer, and let's just say the living benefit amount is 300 grand. You would think he has 700,000 left over of insurance, right? No, that's not how Transamerica's policy works. If he taps into that living benefit, no matter how big or how small, the rest of his insurance turns into a $60,000 to $75,000 final expense policy. That's it. So he loses all the rest. You know what we're looking to do? We're looking to replace it, find him a better policy. How did that start? Health insurance. It's just health insurance. Just health. That's it. That's it, just health. Because it gives me the opportunity to meet with somebody and fact find. Just ask questions. Another lady, by the way, this is a big one. Look at Rob. I was like, yes! This is a big one.
I was going to say something, yeah.
Another lady hits me up. I don't even know who she is. I don't know. I have no idea who she is. At some point, I must have prospected her. She's on my social media. She hits me up. I need health. What do? Match it up with Rob, right? Rob sells their health insurance, right? You sold their health insurance? Am I right with that, Rob? 2. Okay, good. You know what he finds? Client has $300,000 sitting in a savings account right now at the bank. $300,000. You know what I do? I ask her for a customer service review on Rob. And my customer service review sheet, one of the last questions it does is explain some of the additional services we have, and if she would like to talk about any of those services. And I talk about tax-free retirement, pension planning, e-commerce. Like I just do kind of a brief intro, and I ask, are you interested in talking about any of these services? She fills out the review. By the way, gives Rob a 10 out of 10. I don't know if you guys saw it on Voxer. I screenshotted it and posted it. She says, I would like to talk about something, but not at this moment, next month. Because she just relocated. You don't think I'm going to bring up that $300,000? Hell yeah. Where did it come from? Health insurance. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's so much power in that. It gives you an opportunity to just talk to somebody and learn about them. Something as simple as a little itty bitty health insurance policy or a $15 dental policy just gives you the ability to ask questions and learn. 6 sales we've done so far this week just by social media announcements, guys. And cross-selling opportunities are happening left and right. Anyways, back to my book of business. So now you see, I acquire them on social media. I acquire them. If I get to have an insurance conversation, I acquire them into my database. Now, your database could be as simple as this. If you're technology-based, great. Find a CRM that does it. If you're not, get this. Get one of these. Get 2 of them. 2 of them. A red one and a green one. Get a Sharpie. On the green one, write book of business, B.O.B. On the red one, write pipeline. Right? People start in your pipeline and they become clients and then they end up in your book of business, right? You're going to buy divider tabs, 12 of them, little stick-on divider tabs that let you write things on the sides. And in those, why 12? Anybody, not Jennifer Jung, because I just recently did this with her. Anybody know why 12?
Months.
Yep. January, February, March, April, May, June, whoop, another tab. July, August, December, all the way through. You know how simple it is? What you're going to do is this. Every time you meet with somebody and you have, I don't care if it's a 30-second client conversation and you gathered their name and number, you add them to that pipeline, the red book, the pipeline book. Where do you add them? The month that you're working them in. So right now is November. That means that if I'm working it, right? Again, I use a digital one, but I'm showing you a paper version just to be simple. I'm in November's tab and I'm just adding names and numbers, names and numbers, names and numbers, names and numbers, and maybe a little note on what it is they express interest in. That's all I'm doing. If I'm an entrepreneur and I'm talking to many people about my product, if they show interest and they give me their number, name, number, what they're interested in, name, number, what they're interested in, that becomes my hot list. You're on my pipeline now. You're on my pipeline. Once I have a full fact finder with you, right? I'll highlight their name on my pipeline sheet. That's a fact finder. That's there. If I have a full fact finder with you, I have your date of birth, right? Now, while you're in my pipeline, I'm trying to close you. And if you're not going to get closed in November, I'm moving your name to December, and I'm going to try in December. If you're not closing in December, I'm moving you to January. By January, by 3 months of me moving that person over, right? Because all I do at the beginning of the month is I look at last month and I transpose, I copy whichever people I haven't closed and I move them to the next month. And they just keep moving to the next month, next month, and next month, right? Simple system. After the 3rd month of me moving them over, I'll be very direct with them. I'll say, listen, it doesn't seem like right now is the right time. No, because this, no, because that, no, because that. Okay, cool, no problem. Listen, I'll follow up with you from time to time. You know what I do? I move them 6 months out. I move that person's name and number, and again, a little note on them. Maybe you have the note on the CRM, but you still want to use this paper, so just name and number, whatever. But I move them 6 months out. So right now we're in November, right? If someone doesn't take action in November, I move them to December. If they don't take action in December, I move them to January. If they don't take action in January, I'm going to move them 6 months out to June. In June, when June 1st comes along, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the June tab. I'm going to go, oh, I remember this person. I talked to them 6 months ago about this. Let me see if they're ready now. Follow up, follow up, follow up. You ever heard this? You ever heard the phrase fortunes in the follow-up? The fortune's in the follow-up, guys. The fortune is in the follow-up. It really genuinely is, guys. 10, 3, 1, which is 130 and 10. That number 10 is your clients. That will only be real. That number will be real for you. That percentage will only be real to you if you follow up. If you don't follow up and you expect people to become clients on first contact, it becomes 130 and then 3. And I don't know about you, but I don't want 3 clients. I want 10 clients. I'm not willing to leave that 7 on the table just because I don't have a follow-up. Fortune is in the follow-up. Simple as that. Simple as that. That's my way of running my business from a pipeline standpoint. Now, when they become a client, they move into my other book. Remember, the book I've been talking about is the red book. So just envision this being a red book pipeline. Once they become a client, I move them into the green book, which is now called my book of business, otherwise known as B.O.B, Bob, book of business. Same thing, 12 divider tabs, January through December. Guess which month I put them in when they become a client? You want to take a guess? Not Jennifer, because I already did this with her. Anybody know?
The follow
Their birthday.
Their birthday. Their birthday month. I'm going to put it in their birthday month. Their birthday month, their birthday month, their birthday month, their birthday. This is such clutch. You meet with your clients twice a year. Once on their birthday and another time 5 months out. 5 months out. Once on their birthday, 5 months out. Once on their birthday, 5 months out. So how do I do that? Simple. November, right? We're in November right now. I do this on the 1st of every month. If you look on my calendar, watch, I'm going to actually screenshot it just to prove to you that I do it. Okay, watch this. November 1st. November 1st. Here's what I'm going to do now as well on my calendar. I'm going to go into a month view. I'm going to go to December as well, just to prove it to you. View week. December 1st. Actually, I have it as the first month, the first Monday of every month is how I have it set up. That works for me. I'm only gonna screenshot 2 of them. I'm gonna post it on the Voxer so you guys can see what I have. So I have it set up as the first Monday of every month. Do this. There's the first one. Here's the second one. I have it at 6:30 in the morning, a reminder. What does a reminder say? Get age changes and annual reviews. Get age changes and annual reviews. You know what that means? At the first of the month, I'm going to go to my book of business and I'm going to go to the month that I'm in. So if we're in November right now, I'm going to go all the way to the November month. Everybody who's a client that has a birth date in November, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call them. I'm going to wish them a happy birthday and I'm going to invite them out to lunch. And I'm just going to have a birthday lunch with them. That's it. I'm not bringing anything with me. I'm not bringing policies with me, illustration. I'm not bringing nothing. I'm just taking them out to lunch and I'm buying them a $10 sandwich. And in today's virtual world, I might send them some Uber Eats and spend 20 bucks instead. But I'm going to have a birthday lunch with them. You know what I'm trying to do in a birthday lunch? One thing I want to try to do, get referrals. No better time to get referrals than when people are happy that it's their birthday, you just got a free meal. You buy them a free meal, they feel entitled to give you a name and a number because you just bought them a free meal. That's referrals. That's referrals. But I'm not talking business. How are you? How are things going? What's changed? How's the family? How's the kids? Do you have any plans for dinner? Do you have any this? Do you have any that? Da, 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 da. Right? And before the meeting ends, hey, listen, I just want to let you know, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Just so you know, this month right now that we're in is a very important month for my organization. We're looking to hit a new milestone. I have an opportunity to be in the top 10 in the industry, top 5 in my office. And in order to get to that number, we're looking to acquire at least 5 more clients. Do you happen to know anybody who needs some of our services? Referrals. And that script that I just used is the same one that I use every time, by the way. This is a very pivotal month. It's a milestone month. We're trying to get to a new level. I have an opportunity to be in the top 10 in the industry, top 5 in my office. But in order to do that, we need to acquire at least 5 more clients. You happen to have you know anybody who might be in the need for our services? Boom, referrals right at the end. That's what I do. That's one meeting I have with the client. You know, what's the other meeting you know what else I now do? I'll go 5 months out. So if we're in November, I'm going to go 5 months out, right? December, January, February, March, April. I'm calling my April birthdays. You know what I'm doing with April birthdays? Those are the people I'm having annual reviews with. I'm having them in November. I'm calling my April birthdays. Hang on 1 second. I keep screwing that up. Hang on. Is it April? Is it 5 months or 7 months? It's 6 months. I'm lying. It's 7th month. I always confuse it because I do it digital, like my system automatically does it. So I apologize. I go 7 months out. I go 7 months out. So if we're in November right now, I'm doing December, January, February, March, April, May, June. I'm calling June birthdays because 7 months from now, they'll have a birthday. And I'm calling them on the 7th month intentionally. 7th month. Here's why. When they are 6 months away from their birthday, they go through what's called an age change, which means some insurance companies will immediately start rating them according to that age that's coming up. And the older you are, the more insurance costs. Does that make sense? So by calling them 7 months before they have a birthday, it gives them 30 days before they get to 6 months before their birthday. And in that 30 days, what am I going to show them during their annual review? I'm going to show them a policy at their current age and that same policy at the next age, so they see the price difference. But that's why I'm having annual reviews during that time. 7th month, I'm having annual reviews. So at the start of every month, I'm pulling the birthdays for that month and I'm pulling the birthdays for 7 months out. The birthday for that month and the birthday for 7 months out. Those are 2 types of people. If it's on your birthday month, I'm just taking you out to lunch. We're having a sandwich and I'm trying to get referrals. If it's 7 months out, now we're doing an annual review. And here's what I bring with me at an annual review. Okay. I bring with me copies of the policies that I sold them. copies of the original fact finder. Okay, and in that fact finder, so a month, 30 days before their half birthday, we do an annual review. Yes, 30 days before their half, correct. That's the 7th month, exactly. And I'll draw it out here on the board so you guys better understand why the 7th month, because sometimes people are visual. But what I'm bringing with me to that meeting is their existing policies, their fact finder, and in their fact finder should be a budget, should be a dime analysis, right? Should be their demographic, like the kids info and all that stuff. If you're not getting that info on a fact finder, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Even though it might not bring value to you in the first meeting, it's not about the first sale. It's the 4th to the 7th sale where it's going to matter. The bigger sales in the future. Remember, because statistically, your first sale is never your biggest one. And if you have a good follow-up and a good annual review system with your client, you'll sell them another 4 to 7 more times. The budget matters then. Anyhow, that's what I bring with me. If the client bought term insurance from me, you know what I'm going to also bring with me? A couple of illustrations of some IUL conversions. If it's $1 million term, I'll bring $250,000 and $500,000 IUL illustration. $250,000 and $500,000. I'll bring it with me just to let them know, listen, you could turn this term into this. Guaranteed, and this is what it looks like. The other thing that I bring with me is a new fact finder. So the old one and the new one. Because I'm doing an annual review. I want to see what's changed. Let's get new information. Let's update. Are there new, you know what you stumble upon when you do annual reviews like this? The person just got a new job, pay increase. Ooh, let's do a new budget. Is there more money left over after the budget? Should we be saving more money? Right? Oh, the person just got married, life-changing experience, life-changing situation. Let's talk to the wife now. Let's see how the finances have changed. The person just had a baby. Oh, let's talk about it again. Every annual review gives me an opportunity to redo a fact finder and see what's changed from the year prior. See what's changed from the year prior. See what's changed from the year prior. And if I do a new budget and I find out there's more money, guess what? I can challenge them to put more money away for savings. If I do a new dime analysis because they have a new baby, I can challenge them to get more insurance because now they don't have enough. If they change jobs, I can ask them if they're planning to do anything with that old 401k that's now sitting at their old employer, or should we look to move it? If somebody new moved into the family, into the house, we got to revisit the situation. Maybe it's worth getting referrals. But it's always better to do it on the 7th month, just before they hit 6 months. Now, let me explain why. This is the visual side of it. So you understand why, like it's easy to understand birthday months, right? But why 7 months out? And here's why. Let's play it out. Insurance companies, when they classify you for your age for an insurance quote, it's going to be one of two options. It's either going to be last age or nearest age. Some companies operate this way, some companies operate this way. Last age means what is the last age that you are currently? So what's your current age, right? Like I'm 38. My birth date is August 18th. Okay. I love steak. I love red wine. If you want to send something over my way in August, I'll appreciate it. I'm just playing. Right. So if I'm getting a quote from a company that operates last age, they're going to rate me as a 38-year-old. Right now, nearest age is what are you closest to? Are you closest to the age that you just turned, or are you closest to your up and coming age? Right? There's 12 months in a year. So what's the 50-yard line to 12 months? 6 months. So 6 months and 1 day, I would be closer to my next age versus my current age. Does that make sense? 6 months and 1 day, I'm closer to my up and coming age than I am my existing age. Right? So my age change, August, is September, October, November, December, January, February, 6 months, 19th, because my birthday's on the 18th, right? February 19th if I go get a quote at a company that quotes me based on nearest age, even though this coming February, I'll still be 38 years old, they'll rate me as a 39-year-old because I'm closer to 39 than when I turned 38. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe? Yes, yes. Okay, good. So I want to meet people. I want to meet people 7 months before they hit the 6-month mark, because I need that 30-day window to meet with them, to talk to them, to run the quotes, to give them time to think about whether they want to convert. I want them to feel like they have an expiration, a deadline, like, oh my God, when I hit that 6-month mark, I'm going to be rated as a 39-year-old and everything costs more money. You run a quote on a 38-year-old versus a 39-year-old, there's a difference in price. You run an IUL on a 38-year-old versus a 39-year-old, and guess what? There's a difference in price. If someone wants to get the best price and someone wants to get the best cash accumulation, you get it the younger you are. So catch them at 38, not 39. So if it was August, like, so if I'm somebody's client, right? If I'm somebody's client, somebody's going to meet with me in August, because that's my birthday. Take me out to lunch. Don't buy me a sandwich, buy me a steak. I'll give you 10 referrals. On that list will be Tanisha, Takira, Jennifer, Jung, and Gerzo. I promise you, I'll put all 4 of y'all there. Right? But then you're also going to meet with me when? September, October, November, December, January, February, March. On the 7th month. You're meeting with me in March. Why? Because I have an age change. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe. Yes, no, maybe. Maybe. Damn, I keep getting it confused. Is it the 5th month? Hang on. I'm sorry. I gotta write it down. I do huh?
It was January in order for you not to be put to the next age.
You're right.
Because
right. So hang on. Let me do the math on this. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then January, February, and then March. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. No, because it's August 18th. So it's one. This is month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6. On February, I have an age change. You got to meet with me on month 5. Yeah, my bad. I apologize. I started with the right number 5, and then I switched it to 7. It's not 7, it's 5. So you meet with somebody on their birth month, and then you go 5 months out. On their birth month, you go 5 months out. So theoretically, if it's August, if it were August, right, I'm going to meet with August people for a birthday lunch. And then I'm going to go 5 months out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to meet with January people. I'm going to meet with January people for an annual review. Because I know in February, they're going to have an age change. My age change would be February 19th. Right? Because that would make me 6 months and 1 day since my birthday is August 18th. I would meet with them February 19th. February 19th, I get rated as a 39-year-old. So if I'm an insurance agent's client, they're going to meet with me in January, and they're going to say to me, hey, Tony, I brought with me 2 quotes. I brought with me a quote as a 38-year-old and a quote as a 39-year-old. Why did I do that? Because if you apply now, you'll get rated as a 38-year-old, but if you wait until here, you get rated as a 39-year-old. Costs more money. Okay? I apologize. And listen, my system's automated. It just does it. I haven't had to do it in paper in a long time, but I give it to you guys in paper because I'm not gonna lie, it's good to do it in paper when you're new to the business. It's good to physically hold your book of business. Your book of business, that becomes such a valuable tool to you because this is all your clients from every single company you've ever written, all of them. And it's kind of nice to see this book of business get like crinkled up, old, maybe a coffee stain on it. You're using so many papers because it shows I've got a book of business and it's thick, it's big. I don't have 1 or 2 clients in here. I got 3, 4, 5 years into the business. You'll see that book will be like, You know what I mean? But it becomes valuable to you. At the first of the month, you always go to the month that you're in, and then you go 5 months out. Boom. So like right now is November. I'm going 5 months out. So I'm going December, January, February, March. I'm meeting people in April. Right now, I'm meeting November birthdays and April annual reviews. November birthdays, April annual reviews. There's always 2 groups of people I'm meeting every month. And again, what am I bringing to an annual review? Old fact finder, old illustrations, right? I'm bringing with me term conversion illustrations. If they bought term, I'm bringing with me conversion illustrations. I'm bringing with me a new fact finder, and obviously a referral sheet. You always got to get referrals. Every meeting you go, you got to get referrals. Every meeting you got to get referrals. But that's how I start to build my book of business. People will start in my pipeline, my red book pipeline, right? That means I don't care if it's a 2-minute conversation about insurance. You express interest in your name and number, right? And I'm moving them from month to month to month to month to month to month. I move them 3 months. On the 3rd month, if they still haven't taken action, I'm very direct with them. Hey, it doesn't seem like you're ready right now. Maybe a different time. Yeah, cool, no problem. They might tell you when to call them again. So cool, put it on that month that they told you to call them. If they don't give you a time, just move it 6 months out. So what does that mean? That means at the first of every month, you've got 3 lists. 3 lists. Outside of your top 25 from your recruits, outside of your lead list, you got 3 lists. You got your pipeline list, people you're trying to make clients for the first time. You got your birthday list, people that are already clients, you're taking them out for a birthday lunch. And you got your annual review list, which is people 5 months out that are going to go through an age change. 3 lists. That's not even including your new prospects, your new referrals, because your referral list is another list you're always working, right? If you're like me and you're getting 25 referrals every week, that's a hot list. That's a hot list. That's not including the top 25 from your downline recruits. That's not including the lead list that maybe a downline purchased. You see how you can generate so many lists? And you get to the point where between your referral list of new numbers, your pipeline list, existing people you haven't closed yet, birthdays, and annual reviews, those 4 alone, you won't be buying leads for a long time. And if you're always getting 5 new referrals every single day, 25 every single week, 100 every single month, you're going to be adding to those lists. You're going to be adding to your pipeline. You're going to be adding to your birthdays. You're going to be adding to your annual reviews. It all starts with your ability to get referrals, 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day. 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day. If you can do 10 and double up, do 10. I knew if I did 5 every day, 100 every single month, I was making $150. If I wanted to make 300 grand a year, what did I have to do? Not 5 a day, 10 a day. The numbers don't lie. People lie, emotions lie, numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. What do I pay so much tribute to my success in this industry? My first year being a student, taking a field trainer with me to every single meeting I went to. I wrote 105 applications my first year. I split 105 applications with my trainer. That's 105 meetings I learned. 105 meetings I helped underwrite. 105 meetings I did application submissions with them. 105. I was there from beginning to end with that person. I was married to that person. 105. I still made 82 grand my first year. And that was on a split. You get what I'm saying? I pay a lot of tribute to that. The second thing I pay tribute to, when I was independent, when I didn't need that, because the first year you're required at Northwestern to have a trainer with you. You have to. You can't write a piece of business by yourself. After your first year, you're by yourself. You know what was the only thing that kept me accountable? My client builder meetings every single Monday that I had to do. My client builder every single Monday was somebody looking at my business, somebody looking at the analytics, somebody that was unemotional about my business. Because even you're gonna get emotional about your business. You don't want to have a bad business, so you're gonna upsell your business on things that you know aren't true. It's human nature. It's like me saying, it's like you saying to me right now, hey, tell me something bad about your son or your daughter. I'm not gonna tell you something bad about my daughter or my son. It's my kid. I love them. I'm gonna inflate them forever as long as I live. Because I have a bias, that's my blood. You treat your business the same way too. So having somebody inspect your business and be what do you call it? Play devil's advocate, I think is the word I'm using, right? Have somebody that doesn't win or lose on your business, that can be very raw and real. That was beautiful for me. That was beautiful for me because again, I could sit there for the first 5 minutes and tell them, well, this is what happened with my weekend and my kids got sick and that's why I didn't come in on this day and da 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 da, and it was my anniversary. I could paint the picture as to why I didn't have high activity. That's the emotion. But somebody third party analyzing my business, people lie, emotions lie, but the numbers on that report, they don't lie. Those numbers don't lie. They tell a story. They tell, Tony, you were busy that week. Or you know what, Tony, you were eating shit that week. Tony, stop lying to yourself. Stop blaming your referrals. Stop blaming your meeting. You just didn't make enough calls, bro. Stop. The numbers don't lie. Every single quarter that I had a great quarter, you looked at the numbers and I did more calls. I got more referrals than I ever did the rest of the year. And it was like, damn, I can't, it is 100% in my control. But I went to my client builder every Monday, and I had my book of business analyzed and broken down, analyzed and broken down, analyzed and broken down. Look at my numbers, inspect it. People lie, emotions lie, numbers do not lie. I showed you what I do with a book of business. Something as simple as this. Something as simple as this. And it all starts with your ability to get 5 referrals every single day. 5 referrals turn into phone calls, turn into pipeline lists getting full. Pipeline list turns into clients. Clients turns into 2 lists, birthdays, annual reviews. And as long as you're always getting 5 new referrals every single day, that cycle never stops. It keeps going. People will go from I got a referral to you're in my pipeline to you're one of my clients in my book of business. And now I'm seeing you twice a year on birthdays and annual reviews. You do that for 5 years. And this happened to me by the 5th year, every single month, I had at least 5 clients calling me from my book of business. They would call me from my book of business. They would call me, not me call them. They would call me. Hey, I need to get this. Hey, I need to get that. And it was such an easy sale because I already did all the heavy lifting. The first meeting when they didn't know me, I was selling 3 things. Me, the product, the company. But more importantly, me. After I did that first sale, you know how easy the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th sales were? They already trusted me. They don't even need to remember the name of the company. If I recommended a 2nd company, I didn't even need to resell them the stability of that company because they already bought me. It was so easy the 2nd to 5th time. You get so comfortable with your clients that by the 4th or 5th time, you can call them and be like, bro, listen, do you want to retire or not? Well, I do. Why are you yelling at me? Because you told me you were going to be at $1,000 a month in savings by the time your 4th year hit and you're only at 500, bro. I need you to make some moves. I need you to make some moves. You need to add another 250 to this IUL. Bro, all right, man. All right, bro. Go do it. Listen, man, I'm only telling this to you, man, because I care about your future, bro. Is there anybody else that gives a damn about your retirement? Nobody else does. I do, right? Yeah, man, you're right, Tony. You're right. That's the kind of relationship you build with your book of business, with your clientele. You can talk to them very frank. You know how I prep my clientele? Anybody who buys term insurance, I tell them, look, you want to do this smart? You want to do this smart? Anybody that buys term that wants to do IUL, you know what I tell them? I go, look, if you want to do this smart, every single year you convert a quarter of your term insurance. You want to make sure that by the 4th, 5th year, you've converted 100% of your term into permanent insurance because insurance costs more the older you get. So if you wait 10 years to convert this, that IUL might not make sense. So you got a timeline. Every year, I encourage you to convert a quarter of it. $200 a month every year. Add 200 every year. Can you think you can add 200? Yeah, I think I can add 200. Okay, cool. The first year you meet them for the annual review, you remind them, hey, remember that conversation we had about converting a quarter of it? Oh, yeah. I don't remember exactly, but I remember a little bit. How much was it? 200. Okay, let me look at my budget. Okay, yeah, go ahead and do it. I met with them the first year. Second year, it's a phone call. Hey, John, listen, I'm just calling you. It's your annual review time. It's time to make some money moves, right? You know what they'll tell you? Hey, Tony, go ahead and convert that other quarter. Put 250 in that one. Okay, cool. Hey, John, real quick, before I get off the phone with you, has anything changed though? Like, has your driver's license expired? Did you renew it? Did you change banks? Did you see that, did you change job? Did anything change in reference to your information. No, nothing's changed. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna take the information from your last application and use it for this one. Just do me a favor, you'll get the email in the next 12 hours with the application, the conversion app. Okay, cool, no problem. Thanks, Tony, man. I really appreciate it, man. Sorry I couldn't meet you for the annual review. It's just crazy busy over here right now. Yeah, man, no problem. We'll keep up. We'll catch up again. Click. There's another sale. Over the phone. By the third year, it's over the phone because I prepped them the first year. We're going to convert a quarter of this term every year, every year, every year, every year, every year, every year, every year. Simple as that. Simple as that. Hey, you get these clients that you love, you know them so well. You can call them last minute for a Hail Mary. Hey, Steve, listen, I got 3 days left before the end of this month, man. I need 3 more clients, bro. Can you please refer me to your brother? Like, can you do that for me? Yeah, bro. He hasn't met with you yet? Nah, man, he hasn't yet, man. Can you look? I'm gonna ask you for a favor, bro. Can you do a quick 3-way text between you, me, and your brother and tell your brother to talk to me? Yeah, bro, I got you. Boom. And it's John talking to Steve. Yo, Steve, I got Tony on this group text right now, man. He's been trying to get a hold of you, bro. You got to do this already, bro. What the hell are you doing, man? I care about you. I care about your wife. I care about my nephews. You got to meet with Tony already. And Steve replies back on that group text, bro, I'm so sorry, Tony. I didn't mean to stand you up last time, man. John, you're right, man. I know you're my older brother. You love me, man. Tony, where can we meet? How about right now? Click. When you build that relationship with your book of business, they become your advocates. You're their guy. They become your advocates. But you got to start somewhere. What did it for me when I sat in on this exact training I'm giving you guys? What did it for me? 5 referrals a day. 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day. When I meet with the people and I make them clients, I meet with the contingent beneficiaries. I cross-sell on the delivery meetings. I add them to my book of business, and I make sure every single year I meet them twice a year, 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 twice a year. And you'll start to see your book of business will go like this. I mean, it'll go from 100 people to 350, like that, like that. When you start working inside of family trees like that, they'll call you, or when you call them, they're pissed off that you didn't call them fast enough. They will. Cousins will be like, bro, you already talked to my brother, my sister, my auntie, my uncle. How come you didn't call me yet? They get mad at you. Listen, man, I'm sorry. They just gave me your number yesterday. Who? Who didn't give you my number? My sister? Wait till I get my hands on her. She didn't give me your number? Oh. And then families start to, guys, in families, there's always an internal battle of who's gonna best the other, just so you know. Cousins and brothers and sisters, that happens. They always, who's gonna best, who's gonna have the most, who's gonna have the best, who's gonna have, there's always that internal battle. So when 3 or 4 brothers are talking about them working with Tony Martinez, and there's one guy who's left out, he's like, well, come on, I'm not working with Tony. I want to work with Tony too. Done. Done. Cousins, done. Aunts, done. There's always that internal competition. Everybody always wants the best. So when you solicit yourself as the best, and I don't mean soliciting yourself as the best being egotistical and saying, I'm the best. No, I'm saying having the skill set to have a conversation and say things with conviction. Client will call you up. Hey, listen, I got a quote, $1 million for $35. Hey, John, throw that away. Well, what do you mean? That's a lie, John. Why? Why is it a lie? John, don't you think if I could have showed you a $35 a month policy, I would have? You read the fine print, it's probably an accidental policy. Do you really want me to show it to you? Let me guess, you got it from your bank or you got it as a mailer, right? Yeah, how did you know? John, because I know my stuff. John, I'm a broker. I represent 90% of the companies in the market. I would have brought that to you if I thought it was valuable. You know what someone's trying to do? Without knowing who you are, without knowing your wife, Stephanie, without knowing your son, Steve, without knowing your auntie, they're trying to sell you something to make a quick commission and jump bail. You don't even have their cell phone number. You got my number. What are you talking about? Nah, man, you're right, man. I don't know what I was thinking, Tony. Okay, cool. John becomes your advocate. Hey, John, listen, hook me up, bro. I need like 3 more referrals. You can talk to them like that when you know them like that. And John will do the edification for you. He will. I mean, I'm telling you up and down, he'll do the edification for you. Because you stood to him like a boss. I know my shit. Excuse my French. I know my shit. I do. I'll close it with this. I want to make sure I covered all the topics. I got 10 minutes left. New agent orientation. I'll touch on that. I'll close it with this. Another technique that I use, I don't use this on everybody. I probably should, but I don't, but it's a good one. I like it. I need you to understand something. Your clientele is always going to be attacked by another insurance agent at some point in their career. At some point, someone's going to try to replace your business. They will. What'll keep your client with you is the relationship you built, the loyalty you created, and the organic conversations you're willing to have with your clients. If you show up with your back pocket, a $500,000 illustration, you're just like every other insurance agent. Take the 5 minutes and do a real dime analysis. Have them apply for the exact amount of insurance they need. That way, when they look at that odd number and they see $535, they know exactly why it was $535. There was a formula that you did with them. But here's what I do. I do this also on a delivery meeting. This is kind of funny the way I do it, but this is my personality. It works. Let's say I'm talking to Tanisha, right? Tanisha, listen, I want to thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to help you and trusting me with your family's insurance needs, but I want to prep you for something that's going to happen in the next year or two, okay? Next year, Tanisha, you're going to cheat on me. You're going to be unfaithful to me. You see what Tanisha does? It's true. That's what the clients will do. I go, here's what's going to happen. Next year, somebody younger, somebody taller, somebody with hair is going to knock on your door. And that's going to be a good looking dude. He really is. He's going to be a lot better looking than I am. And he's going to have in his back pocket an insurance illustration. And that illustration is going to be cheaper than the one that I'm bringing, than the one that I just showed you right now. And they're going to ask you to show them the cookie. The cookie. You know what the cookie is? They're going to ask you to show them a copy of the illustration that I just shared with you. The policy that I sold. And you're going to cheat on me. You know why? Because you're going to give them the cookie. You're going to give them the policy. And somewhere along the line, when you give it to them, you're going to feel a little bit of guilt because you're going to be like, damn, I just cheated on Tony. When that moment happens, I want you to remember that the policy that I put in your hand was something that took you and I a lot of time to figure out exactly how much and exactly which type that you should have done. It wasn't something that I just blindly had in my back pocket. There was a relationship established and there was effort that was built. There's trust that we've built. And when you remember that, you're going to remember to take that cookie back. Because that person didn't invest nearly as much time as I put into you. And you know that when the day comes that you're not here, I can speak for you as though I know you because I know you. And I can speak for you and know that what I recommended to you was the right thing that I recommended to you. And I can represent you and your family the right way. Whereas that younger, taller, right, filled with hair, good looking brother that introduced you to that policy doesn't know nearly as much as I know about you. I'm going to let you cheat on me. You're going to tell me you're not, but I know you are. I just want you to know that younger guy is a side chick and I'm wifey material. I'm here for life. Is that okay with you? You know what they do? They laugh. Right? It's funny, but you build relationships that way. You know what's crazy is I've had clients call me up a year or two later to be like, Tony, I almost cheated on you. I'm like, what? Man, you're right. He was younger. He was taller. He was better looking. Hey, what are you doing? Why are you insulting me? But I didn't do it. I didn't show it to them. I was about to, and I was about to give them the cookie, but I didn't. I took it back. I don't want side chicks. I want wifey. I mean, literally, I do it that way. I prep them for what's going to come. In regards to the orientation, okay, I want you to know what's going to be happening here soon, okay? Hopefully by this coming Monday, I think we can do it. I got the goods.com. Oh man. Okay. We're going to be unrolling a brand new agent orientation Monday nights at the same time that I do general training. It'll be the same Zoom ID. So everybody hops onto the same Zoom ID. And the idea is when we begin is I create a breakout room and take all the new agents and move them into a separate room and then I'll continue to do general training. This was a recommendation by some of the VPs because, you know, as a brand new agent, if you hop into one of my trainings midway through, it might just be too much. It'd be overwhelming. You know, maybe a brand new guy who, you know, only had their license for 2 months. It's, you know, it's still hot from the press, you know. So we're gonna do an ABCs of insurance, like a insurance 101 class. That's gonna be ran by Yasmin Dominguez. Just so you know, the reason why I selected Yasmin is because she can relate with a lot of the younger agents, but she also has a lot of natural talent. She's one of our top 10 right now, individual producers. She's made some serious, some decent income. I don't know if I call it serious, but she's definitely made some decent income, and she's done it pretty much independently. She has a good spunk to her spirit and her personality. And so the idea is on Mondays, when I bring them into that breakout room, she's going to run a basics 101 of insurance, kind of like a here's what term life is, here's what a GUL is, here's how to find an IUL. Like, I don't even want her to break down an IUL completely. I just want her to talk a little bit about the features and then how to find it. Because if we can get all the new agents to be able to understand how to sell term life, how to sell a GUL, and how to sell final expense, that gives them enough confidence to feel like they're learning something and they can present something. She'll show them 1 or 2 companies to be able to run quotes using our back office website. And she's also going to conclude it by introducing all of the departments that offer other services. But it's a very basics 101 for your brand new agent. They'll know how to do 3 out of the 4 types of insurances presentation. They won't know how to do the full IUL. I think it's too much from the beginning. But they'll be able to at least understand, this is where I get the marketing material. This is how I do a term presentation, a GUL presentation, a final expense presentation, and here's all the departments that TKO has. So that when they come back to you, they can say, I really like it. I'm learning something. I'm learning, you know, man, I didn't know that term insurance worked this way. So be on the lookout for that. I still do have to sit with Yasmin to do that training. My hope is I can be able to sit with her and do it by maybe even tomorrow, knock it out, and have it recorded so that she can always reference back to it. But that's what's going to be coming. That's what's going to be coming for you guys. Does anybody have any questions before I finish off for the rest of the day and let you guys enjoy the rest of your day or go out there and hustle and build your businesses? Was this beneficial? Okay. My hope is this. I'm going to upload this video into the channel. If you're watching the
Lots
video,
of information. Much.
yeah.
I'm a little bit confident.
I heard you a little bit there. You're breaking in and out. I heard it was a lot of good information, a little bit overwhelmed, but you're thankful about it. I think that's what I heard. Thank you. So, okay, good, cool. My hope is this, guys. My hope is that you realize this business is an elephant. Okay. Don't compare yourself to me. Please don't. I'm a product of 17 years in this business and millions of mistakes that I've made along the way. I was probably worse than every single one of you guys when I first got into this business. Afraid of the phones, didn't want anybody to hear me making the phone calls, in an environment where it was racism left and right. There was the stereotypes left and right. There was, 30-year relationships that I had to find a way to break through. There was cases that I lost that, I could have made a decent amount, but I lost. I made you name it, I made the mistakes. Okay. I worked this business in the day, and then at nighttime, I opened up a cleaning company and cleaned houses, to try to make a little bit of extra money while I was still trying to learn the insurance industry. On the weekends, I sold lobsters, live lobsters in my garage, because I ended up getting a pretty good contact on a fisherman that was selling lobsters. And I remembered exhausting a lot of my savings in the very beginning when this got started. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. I remember feeling like I was on the top of the mountain at one point with this industry, and then going through a divorce and losing everything, and having to start all over again. I remembered moving into a Section 8 house because I lost everything, trying to figure out my way back into the industry. I remember losing my book of business from Northwestern because I didn't fully vest my book, and having to start all over again. I remembered the dining, literally a dinner table was my office, a dinner table in a Section 8 house behind the Walmart with $150 gift card that I had gotten for Christmas that I used to buy a used computer at a pawn shop to try to build this business all over again. I remember that. It's not easy, but it's worth it. I promise you, you stick to it, it's worth it. My hope is you watch this video 3 times, 4 times. My hope is you listen to my scripts and you write them down on a notepad. Pause, write it again, pause, write it again. And when you have it written, role play it 3, 4, 5, 10 times. But set a number in your head where you say, okay, I'm going to role play this 10 times and then I'm going to go and do it. And I hope you understand you're meant to burn the first 5 to 10 cases that you work. You're going to burn them. There's going to be 5 to 10 people that are going to be walking around your community, cussing you up and down, wishing they never met you. That's okay. They're supposed to. They're supposed to. Those are like what I call the sacrificial lambs. I still have some of them. I sometimes walk through this community and I'm like, man, I remembered that guy. That was like my first year in business, man. Oh my God, I burned that case, man. I don't know why he's not walking up to me right now and punching me in the face. You're supposed to burn some cases. Those sometimes become some of the best lessons. But if you choose not to go out there and not to try to run your business and not to try to present because you can't get a certified trainer to meet with you, or because you're too scared to do it, or because you think you want to master it before you do it, I promise you the guarantee is that you're going to fail. There's a guarantee you're going to fail. But if you go out there and you chance it, you'll fail a couple, and then you get 1 client, and then you'll fail 3 more, and you get another client, and then you fail 5 more, and then you get another client, and then another client, and then another client, and then you think you're a pro, and then you'll fail the next 10, and then you get another client and another client, and before you know it, all those failures and all those successes have still generated a 6-figure income for you. I always get more people that say no to me than say yes to me, and I'm 17 years in this business. I still get more people say no than they say yes. It doesn't change. There will always be more people that say no than say yes. But I know now so much about this industry, and I know that the numbers are the numbers. They're not going to change. They're not going to change. Just keep asking for referrals, keep meeting with people. I try to meet with at least 10 people a week, which means I try to schedule 25 to 30 appointments. Think about that. Schedule 30, meet with 10. That means 2/3 said no, but I've accepted those numbers as real numbers. I've accepted them as real numbers. And that's what's been able to provide me and my family with a lifestyle. That's what's been able to give me the opportunity to build this FMO and be able to have the honor and pleasure of training and developing and working with you guys. That's what gives me the ability to say to my family, I'm taking the next 10 days off. Guys, I leave this month to Costa Rica for 9 days. I leave this month to Costa Rica for 9 days. And, as much as this company is my baby and I'm excited for it, and it's a little nerve-wracking to leave and, be out of it for 9 straight days, I'm also very blessed that this business has been able to give me this opportunity in a very, very tough time where there's a lot of people right now suffering financially because of COVID, because of unemployment issues, because of this, because of that. I want this for everybody. I want this for all of y'all. I want this genuinely for every single stinking one of y'all. But you got to be able to push past that first year, 2 years. You got to be able to push past the rejection. It's going to happen. And be a student as much as you can. I would remember watching videos and listening to audios at 1, 2, 3 in the morning sometimes, because I wanted to make sure when I got up and got my day going early in the morning, I was always a student willing to learn, but willing to fail and willing to get up and keep going. If you're watching this video because you didn't attend this live, right? There's people there that attended it live. But if you're watching this video and you're saying, man, Tony, you're speaking my language. I want to talk to someone in your office. I'd love to talk to you directly. My number is 239-784-1118. Hit me up. And for every one of you guys that is here watching this right now, there's no better mentor, there's no better professor that you will ever have than life experience itself. I'm just giving you a little bit of tools and a little bit of hopefully encouragement to go out there and fall forward. But it's those efforts that push you forward. It's those efforts of falling forward that become the best teacher ever. Better than me, better than any former mentor you've ever had. I don't care how much income they are making. There's not a better mentor for your business than life experience itself. You learn and you learn and you learn. Have a good day. Be blessed. Okay. Take this recording and watch it as many times as possible. And tell me the results. Tell me when you start using some of these things and implementing it and they work. Hit me back and let me know that they worked, because I love hearing those success stories. And I'm always here for anything else that you guys may very well need, any questions you might have, any role playing you might want to do. But again, I meet you at the 50-yard line. You got to be willing to meet me at the 50-yard line. If I got to wake you up and tell you to work your business, you're not meeting me at the 50-yard line. I'm only going to go up to the 50-yard line. That means you got to be willing to get up and meet me the other way. Cool? Good stuff? All right. Have a good one, guys. Be blessed. Bye-bye. I'll stay on for another minute for any questions anybody might have.